We're back. You're watching Co-op for Two.
Yeah, we just took a little walk. We're back. You've been sitting just there. There's only like a 3-second difference.
I've got some chocolates by Jill here that I'm making my way through.
I've been making chocolates.
Amazing quality chocolates. You might be able to buy these in the store by the time these come out.
So you're just gonna eat all those? You're not gonna leave anything for Naoki?
She had her chance.
Apparently, I just have bubble gum or gum. I'm like chewing loudly, like a maniac.
So recap what happened.
So we and I were both too worn out to read.
It was craziness.
To read like 18 pages of dialogue, but it was up there on the thing there, so you could see. So we're now reset.
Yeah, but tell them what happened. I mean, I know they kind of know, but let's just recap even for my sake. Like we ended the case.
Right,
We
so
solved
we had a
it.
case
It seemed too easy.
that
There
was-
were missing pieces. Didn't make sense.
I thought you wanted me to recap.
Yeah, you recap.
But you just did it.
No.
You
I gave you your chance. I gave you your chance.
You didn't do the point. So basically, we now have. We had a case that was relatively on rails.
By the way, this is what happens like at 3 a.m., 1:30, all rules are out the window. You're talking while you're chewing gum.
I am.
I'm shoving candy in my face.
I gotta get rid of this gum. Put it in your hand.
Garbage over there. Is that really what we've come to?
So, well, you just said there's no more rules. Okay, so here we are now. We have broken the fourth wall. Our detective, our character, which we haven't had in another game of Chronicles of Crime. We've just been us, but we have this character who's decided that he's now realized that like the designer of this scenario is like lazy and that he didn't want to solve this case, so he made this robbery case instead. So we're leaving the people out. We're taking the rest of the cards and putting them away that were used except for these two. And we know that Accord and the victim from his previous case that we were told about in the beginning, this is the way to solve it.
But it's cool. He's kind of told us that he's like hacked the game system, and there's still pieces, remnants of the old case still in the computer dialogue files, on the data files, and he's going to help us unravel it.
So essentially, this could be really, really good, or it could be really, really bad. So I'm very skeptical and guarded at this point because I don't want to just take what we just did and throw it out the window. Because it was a compelling case in some regards, but in a lot of regards it was on rails. And I enjoyed it because I enjoyed the discussion that Jesse and I had regarding where things could go and what's happened and stuff. But I don't think 3 hours of like going through that will be useful if it hasn't been specifically.
Although it was fascinating, we were thinking this is it ended too quickly. It wasn't hard. There wasn't adult themes, so it's like it's weird.
Yeah. So
and now we do have a case of murder and cords and restraining devices.
So we're on home of Patricia Maxwell, searching the scene. Could that mean anything? Look, we got our star detective here.
All rules are off, so Sarah's in the picture now.
She heard you say that all rules are off. We've called in a specialist. Sarah, who did it? This is a whodunit that only you can solve, Sarah. How long do you think until Jesse's going to yell at you?
Oh, no.
Nope.
No.
Not like that. She's a little protester.
All right. No, Sarah. Come on.
Sarah, I would try to do that, but you would bite me if I grabbed you like that.
The adults are playing.
We called in a specialist, Jesse. What are you doing?
I called in a specialist. All right, let's search the scene.
Well, okay, first of all...
I want to see what...
Hold on, stop.
Okay.
We're still in the home of Patricia Maxwell, so searching the scene could just be her house again, but it could also be important.
Let's just remember, he's saying if we get stuck, we ask him. So he's going to like talk to us as we're playing.
I've also brought her back in, who I removed kind of from the game because I didn't want Jesse to be tempted to use her as a hint. I didn't want him to remember that she existed.
5 years ago and put the killer behind bars, okay. The victim of the killer was constrained using a rope. Another good thing is to do the laziness, you see him location, okay. Yeah, I guess that's... The dialogue must be a little strange because they should answer like 5 years ago. It's like the case was 5 years ago. You need to find the cards. The card about the unknown killer is such a card. You need to find the cards that belong to the original case and ask people about them. Okay. All right.
So we should search the scene just
well,
to...
especially since she's been carried away. Like the woman of the house.
Well, I think we search the scene just to make sure it's not a different scene entirely or doesn't have new items.
It shouldn't have any new items, but let's search. Let's find out. It shouldn't, because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't changed the game. He's left the same data file. I mean, that's what's so fascinating. It's like it makes sense that like the same data file we've been playing. We're now. What's that? Oh, it's just the side of the thing.
So look out there.
Computer.
But we can't use computers anymore.
Why not?
Because it's something we've already scanned.
Mm-hmm. Are you? Yeah. We've already asked people about things. There's no point in asking them again.
No, we cannot physically take those cards have been removed. He told us to remove them.
I think they're still there, but
No, he said take the cards out.
he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said we're not using those. Okay, so that's the same scene we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We're just gonna ask people.
Say no. Okay, so let's start off by scanning the 2 cards that we have now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just going to say that as a recommendation. That's not an order. I mean, I don't want to be.
The only thing that
I don't want to get another Greg's insubordination. No.
The only thing that gives orders in this world is the gun. What movie is that from?
Middle of the hint.
Well, it's a remade. It was originally a black and white old film, was remade into one of my favorite movies of all time. And this is a scene where he gets confronted by his old boss. And the boss is like, get up, get out of here. And he's like, you're giving me orders, Frank? The only thing that gives orders in this world is a gun or something like that.
I should probably know the answer to this, but give it to me.
I'll give you a clue. It's not 3 hours long. Or it's almost 3 hours long.
I don't know.
Remember when we had a discussion about movies that were long and 3 hours?
Yeah, I think normally I would consider this question longer, but
Scarface is
Scarface.
the movie.
Oh
Scarface
yeah, yes. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me now. Yeah, Frank. He's like, yes.
They're in the club.
Yeah.
And he's.
I love. Well, the best thing is he's like, what is that? And he's like, this. It's not like, this gun, it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's you tried to kill me, and I'm just sitting in this club. Like, and the other best part of that is when he's like killed everybody, and like he's like Ernie, and Ernie is like he couldn't sweat anymore. He's like a puddle. Like he's like,
you want a job?
And he's like, you want a job? He's like, sure. And he's like, oh.
That so is great. One of the best. The scene you're describing when he confronts Frank, who's just tried to have him killed, is one of the best scenes ever made in any movie. Yeah. After he kills him, he's talking to the cop, and the guy's like, "You can't kill a cop," and he goes, "Cop,"
and then he
shoots him in the stomach.
The best thing is he goes, "I can fix this."
No, he says, "You let me go. I can fix this up." And he goes, "What's the cop's name?" He goes, "Sure, maybe you can handle yourself one of them one-way tickets to the resurrection." Because the guy tells him earlier, throw in a ticket to Paris. My wife wants to see it.
Yeah. But the best is like,
and he says, "Good luck."
You can imagine like getting shot, and you're like, "Oh, I can fix it. Don't worry, I'll just leave." Like, no, I'm pretty sure you're gonna die. Yeah. I told you I made that guy a turkey burger when I worked at a cafe.
No, I don't remember. Oh yeah, what's his name?
I made him, and then I made a bunch of lattes. I mentioned made a bunch of lattes for Jonathan. Oh my god, I can't remember his name now. He's in like L.A. Confidential. He plays the Pierce Patchett.
Don't know.
Not Jason Stratham. That's not right at all. He's in a lot of stuff. I can't remember his name right now.
But that is my number one favorite movie scene of all time.
Whoa! What? Really?
Yeah.
That's your favorite scene of all time?
That's my favorite movie.
Aren't
scene
you impressed
of all
that
time.
I knew so many of the lines from it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have said that.
I am impressed you knew so many of the scenes, but you're good. You're good.
Do I get another note that's not Greg's insubordination?
It would have been better if you knew the name of the movie I was talking about.
Well, I think I was a little fried. I think I could have come up with it if we weren't so fried from this.
Okay, what happened when we scanned this? Item's not relevant here. We got to show it to someone.
Okay.
So how do we? Oh, we just leave here, I guess.
No, why don't you try scanning the body and to see if it says anything? But I doubt it. I doubt it will.
Yeah.
Try this somewhere else. Okay, so you could almost pick something at random at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you could pick. Let's go back to where we started at Westminster or Scotland Yard.
I mean, I'm interested to talk to her, to be honest with you. I mean, she's at the root of all this, right?
Let's go talk to her then. What you doing there on your phone?
I'm trying to see what this guy's name is because it's really bothering me.
Okay, we find the small house that they mentioned. Through the window, you can see Kira Lumi sitting in front of a laptop. Okay, here we go. We're going to scan her, and we're going to see what she knows about these dead bodies. Oh, no, you're from the
David
police?
Stratham. David Stratham.
I thought they would not notice. How can I help you? All right, now, let's see.
So now we're back to...
Uh-huh.
This doesn't feel like 5 years ago dialogue.
No. This is going to be all dialogue from this current game. From the robbery case until we show them new stuff. They're still playing in the old data the data file of the robbery.
We'll see what happens.
But now we're going to show her a card that the game designer did not intend us.
Well, let's see.
Does this look familiar to you?
This is the revenge. Now the thing's not going to work. Oh boy. Get that away from me. How dare you show me the rope that was used to tie up my boyfriend. Wow, okay.
Okay.
Okay, hit next. So it's her boyfriend. Is the... Well, we can remember that. I don't need to write it down.
And this
I love that I do write things down in the beginning of the case, and then I'm just like...
So is this going to be her boyfriend that got killed?
Yeah, obviously. Promising that you find the killer who murdered my Justin.
Okay, 31, Justin.
Do you know what I just thought of?
What?
What was the guy's name that was on holiday in Germany?
Martin.
Martin Pine. Yeah. I was just thinking that's going to be kind of interesting if that Martin Pine thing comes into...
Yeah, it is.
All right, so I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
He's got
31.
You have my curiosity, and now you have my attention. So now we are getting more people out.
Yep.
You know what that's from?
Nope.
It's from Django. It's in a lot of memes now, though. There he is.
Oh, that's weird. That was us. Remember when we asked ourselves about...
That was Kyle Thomas. Remember?
Yeah.
We asked ourselves about ourselves, and it came up with this guy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, so we thought it was a mistake, and it's actually not a...
That's weird.
It was put in there on purpose.
A mistake
Little,
on purpose.
Okay, so ask about her. Him.
Okay, yeah.
And we can actually ask her about herself now.
This is a guy.
Hmm?
This is a guy.
You
know this is a guy, right?
Yeah, I said you can ask her about herself.
Yes.
Whoa, yeah. So I was saying you can ask her about herself now.
She's gonna say the same thing she said before.
No, she's gonna say something different now.
Why do you have to bring this up again? I already talked to the police about this over.
Hold on.
And over.
So now, hold on. Are we now just not reading it or reading it? Because you picked the middle ground. That's not helpful.
Sobs. Why? You want to read it in her voice?
I'm just saying, like, for the camera and stuff,
we gotta read it.
You could either mumble, which
now
helps
that
no
Greg
one.
has decided we're allowed to read again, we're going to read again.
I just want to go back to being
No.
completely insubordinate. It's completely that was really. I mean, I want to earn my insubordination.
Am I going to pay for that joke for
at least for this video?
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay.
Why do you have to bring this up again? I already talked to the police about this over and over again. Justin was my boyfriend. We were happy together and had plans. We just took out a loan at the bank to buy a small house, but in the blink of the eye, it was gone. Okay, so that was here. He was gone. I just can't anymore. I want to wake up and live my normal life.
Oh.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I think let's ask her about herself.
Okay.
You disagree?
I think she's going to say the same thing. Like, I think that...
My name is Kira, you will already know. Looks very different. My main job is to write book critics for the Emma organization. As a part-time job, I'm cleaning office buildings for the city planning in Westminster. Wow, that was instant karma.
So...
I just said, like, look at how different it is.
This is why this is so clever. Like, the game has not... It hasn't switched to a different case. All of the files, all of the dialogue from the robbery are still in there. When we ask people about each other, they're going to say exactly what they said before.
So I think
it's just there's new dialogue that we haven't triggered.
From 5 years ago.
That's right.
So this is the setting. So in other words, it's kind of a way to say, it's like a flashback. It's like, well, hey, I know that this case is going on, but like, hey, do you remember this? The fact that
it's like hacking the system. Like they're all still responding to the robbery game.
So. You could see, I mean, I don't know if this is the case or not, okay? But you could, given that we know very little at this point, I was convinced that this was going to be a complete new basic thing. But you could take this out of it, this guy out of it, right? Us or whatever, and just say, hey, we've noticed there's a connection between the old case and this case. And then go back and ask all the people and find out that, like, that this robbery or whatever's happening now, is a direct result of what happened kind of before.
Just remember that, like, if we ask any of these people about each other, they're going to give us the same answer that they gave.
Yeah, I do now see that. Yes. I do now. But I interpreted it differently when it started, that it was going to be kind of because they said they hacked into the system and it was a different thing or whatever. So, but that's quite interesting, actually, because, like, there's a number of things. Like, okay, so, like, the original Star Wars, when I was a kid, I thought, this is so cool because, there are these events that happened off the Clone Wars and all this, and now, of course, I don't like Star Wars. It's kind of really been ruined for me over the years. They've, like, really punished you for being a Star Wars fan over the years. But, like, that's something I liked. And, like, so, like, Captain America comics I thought were awesome when Ed Brubaker was writing them, because he kind of was like, here's the story going now, and then he would flash back to the 1940s and you'd see Captain America fighting Baron Zemo, and it's like, well, that's what impacted now. And so I always like, like Lord of the Rings is the same way. Lord of the Rings is where they have, like, there's a huge backstory that happened before, and the events now are really being pushed from the stuff that happened
Well, it
before.
could be that if we find some new connection, that then when we asked about the person, we'd get something new.
Sure, it makes sense. I'm just saying, like, you could see that maybe the fourth wall stuff wasn't necessary, that it's just that it could have just as easily been, like,
that's
some
a good
kind
point.
of connection. And that may not be the case. It may come to back around.
All right, so her boyfriend was killed.
Okay,
she doesn't want to talk about it.
So now we got to
much.
look at the case again, right? So, what do we have? These are all the same people, right? So, we scanned him, right?
Right.
Okay, so
That's
now
her boyfriend. He was killed with rope.
Who is likely to know him is, if she's dating her, she works at these two places. I would say that those are the two places.
Well, it's interesting. How long has she worked here? 2 years. So she wouldn't have been working there.
That's a very good point.
At that time, if they're the same person, which they seem to be.
Okay, so she's worked it there for 2 years, so they won't know. So let's discount them for now. Let's keep them out of. Okay, she's been going in here for years.
Although don't forget, like, we don't know that they're the same characters. This
no.
might have been a different character.
No,
who's
but
the
that's
murderer.
what I'm saying. It's. I think it's not. I think she's saying she's the same person.
Yeah, she is.
So I think that those presumably would be the same people.
Yeah, I think. Which
right. Did you just listen to my 5-minute diatribe about all this?
I did listen to it, Greg.
Yeah, you didn't really take it to heart, though.
I did. I'm just absorbing the possibilities.
So we could go here because she works for the M organization. But how can we? Although they lived here, is that what she said? So we maybe should go to B.
That's right.
Okay,
well,
but
they
first,
worked in the bank or something, right? Not lived. What did it say? It said we took out a loan at the bank to buy a small house.
Okay, so can you look in the history real fast? Can we find her? This one, which is Trisha something. She was the first woman we had that didn't have an insane eyeballs.
She was very talkative, though.
Okay, so I want to see now. When, if she says when she came in.
Remember, she did say she used to have to write it, then she gradually got to doing digital.
A year ago, okay, so both of these are quite new.
Right.
Okay, so let's throw them out, but let's set them aside for a moment in terms of they weren't. She didn't work at either place.
If that's the way the game is working.
I would argue that it is, since she didn't tell us that she worked at those places.
We should trust but verify.
Okay, so.
But let's go here.
Okay, so hit goodbye.
We showed all the things, yeah. But what a twist.
Want to read this one?
Using the information from Mrs. Lumi, you are able to narrow down the list of possible targets in this area. You have a good look around to check for valuable targets. The most likely target around here is a bank, which is located right in the middle of the area of interest. You can see the bank manager 15 giving some orders to a security guard. This is still for the robbery case, but bank manager 15. This is still for the robbery case.
Yeah, this is not what we might have been able to get this at some point.
Yes, I think we might have been able to get this.
Okay.
In addition, you'll find the small bookstore that sold a book to Miss Lumi. You can see a woman 13 through the window, and that's our crazy woman. Okay, so this is fascinating. We're in 2 cases at the same time.
Now, hold on a second. It said book 24.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't have book 24, I don't believe. I think that's...
No, that was the book that was.
No, it was a receipt.
That's true.
We now have a book. So I'll tell you.
Wait, where is the book though?
It just
the book
said
24.
24. There it is.
That's. Huh.
Okay, so hit X.
Okay.
And let's scan book 24 and see what happens.
Okay.
Because it was a receipt. Okay. It did tell us that there was going to be new ways to bring these out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a receipt that brought us to this.
Mm-hmm. That should be the lock picking book.
Correct, but it was a receipt that brought us there.
Right. Okay. Yes. So you want to talk to the bank manager?
I kind of want to scan this girl. I do. I'm interested about the bank manager because it's in Cheddar Lucas. But I am kind of curious. I don't want to forget this.
Okay, well, let's do her. Let's do her, and we'll do that, and then we'll show her the
Only
new stuff.
because I want to see if that was its way of introducing this book, right? Because it did make a point of saying we're going to have to find the right cards, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And I know...
This is the book that I recently sold to one of my regulars. I was a little bit surprised about this because she usually only looks at books and never buys them. Even more so because it is a book on how to pick locks. She did not seem like the type of person that tries to pick locks, but every sold book is a good book. Okay. So I think maybe we could have found that.
Because when we scanned this, a receipt fell out of it.
Right, but maybe we should have also kept that. I don't know.
So hit next.
All right, now I want to show her some dead bodies.
But you do see that could be a way to...
Sure.
Okay, why don't we just scan... Since we're talking to her...
Oh, yeah.
We're going to scan him.
I think she's going to be important for this case. It's so horrible. I met him a few times at the bank. He was also one of their clients. Ever since his death, I feel very insecure.
Do you think now maybe we can scan her again and see if she says something different?
I think she's going to say the exact same thing until we do something dramatic. But I think it's going to be the exact same thing that she said in the robbery case. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know this woman. She sometimes comes here to have a look. Unfortunately, she never buys anything. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you do see that it did encourage us to say that like we were going to have to find the new cards to use. Mm-hmm, yes. And so when it said this book, given that it's trying to break the fourth wall, I know that we use the receipt to get to that point. Mm-hmm. Okay, so bank manager.
Wait, we can show her the chords and stuff to see if she has anything to say about
But whatever,
that.
you can, yeah, sure.
I feel like maybe it...
Whatever you did is terrible.
Was this used to constrain the victim? It must have been awful to be in the hands of such a monster. I have nightmares because of this murder.
Okay.
All right. We think this is the victim, right?
That's him, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's how we got him.
So I'm not sure why we need... All right, I'm saying goodbye?
Yes.
I could ask her about the bank teller.
I don't really care.
Yeah, it's goodbye. Let's talk to this one.
Welcome to our bank. My name is Felicitas Jester, and I am the manager. How can I help you? Wait a second, I remember you from 5 years ago. You were the detective who investigated the disappearance of one of our customers. It's such a shame what happened to him. Okay, ask her what she knows.
Is it?
Since we haven't had her yet. I'm the manager of this bank for around 10 years now. Nothing really happens around here, which is exactly what it should be like. The only major event in here was the murder of one of our clients 5 years ago. The bank is secured by several guards and we monitor all entrances to this building. You would need a highly trained team to rob this branch. Okay. Okay, so... Who do we want to ask her about?
We want to ask her about the victim.
Obviously.
Okay.
But hold on, don't we usually like to make a little stack?
Okay.
Although now we don't want to make a stack because it doesn't matter. We have nothing really to go on. Mm-hmm. This is horrible. It's just horrible. Justin was one of our customers and wanted to buy a house together with his girlfriend. He was here just 2 months ago to speak about his plans for the future. I hope that I can help you with your investigation. I will answer any question in order to support the hunt for this killer. Do you recognize this length of rope? That seems stupid to ask her about it.
It does. I need to ask about this just to see what this is.
There's a lot of experimentation in seeing what they're going for.
Asked about the unknown killer. Oh, this is the killer.
Ew. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so when we took that walk, we came back and forgot.
This killer's a monster. He murdered one of our customers. I was following this case from the beginning on. If I can help you with anything, please let me know. I will do what I can to help you catch him. Okay, so let's remember that's the killer.
And now maybe we should have asked her.
Did we ask? Did we not ask her?
Oh, that's what brought him. Yeah. Okay.
Now where is she now? She's in Scotland Yard.
Is she?
And she's the hacker. I bet she's got good information.
Okay, but I think it was good to go here. Now, I mean, right now it's weird because we have nothing really to go.
We're just shooting in the dark. And... Oh, that's good.
I can't believe... See, we're going at this a really odd...
Well, it's a weird situation we find ourselves in. Okay, yes, please look at the cords.
Okay, first things first. Luchin, we have no drugs for you. I'm sorry.
First things first, get out your private
I was
supply.
able to extract 2 sources of DNA from the robe. One belongs to the victim, Justin Seeley, and the other to the unknown male. Could be the DNA of your killer. A friend who goes to the employer to ask about the office hours of a victim? Come on, that is so obvious. Too obvious. Couldn't that writing genius come up with some more subtle hints? This is more fourth wall stuff.
Yep.
Anyway, it seems like we now know that the killer is likely a man. This should help us a little bit in finding that asshole. Good job. Keep on going. I know that we can finish this. Okay, so essentially we now have our suspect list because they're probably in front of us. Although we can bring out more.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing it's one of the people here.
And now we're talking to ourselves again. Should we scan this and see what he says? This feels like getting clues. Feels like
don't scan him.
Should I goodbye?
Yeah. Okay. See, now we're back.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay, so she's.
Anything else you want to?
Well, we only can do 2 things.
Yeah.
I mean, we could scan this.
I mean, I guess we can
and see what
happens.
if she doesn't. Okay.
I wouldn't mind asking the hacker about that. Will he know anything about it? It's just not.
He has not seemed to be like.
He might know about our guy though.
Oh, we can go to the doctor and ask him. We now can get an autopsy of this guy.
Oh, that's interesting.
So goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Scan him, right? This is normally what we would have done in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
This is Liam. Hold on a second.
No.
Oh, hello, Liam. How can I help you? Yeah.
All right. Do you have an autopsy on our victim? Yeah, there we go.
This is the victim of the killer which we were trying to catch. His body was badly mutilated and some of his organs were missing. It looks like the killer's trying to do some of his own anatomy studies. Okay? Is that it?
Do we know anyone who wants to be a doctor? Not really.
All right, well, we know
This guy's creepy.
We know the victim or the killer is a male.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either us.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't kill himself because it's 2 DNAs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or he had assistance, but that's good. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Or it could be a new
5.
guy. Could
or
be
a new
guy.
person.
Absolutely could be a new guy. He's trying to do his own anatomy studies. Badly mutilated.
All right.
Yikes.
All right. So do you want to go talk to her? Or?
I absolutely want to go to Scotland Yard because I'm really curious
hold
to
on
hear
a
if
second.
she's there.
Let's hit the brakes for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So the stuff about her still isn't cleared up. So that's kind of annoying that that
mm-hmm.
is just fourth wall stuff that didn't
Mm-hmm.
really make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not pleased with that. But I also wonder
unless there's some interesting.
But what I'm wondering is how these guys so she didn't work for either of these places before she knew him.
Where did she work?
So if that's the case, the likelihood that it's one of them would be kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had to make a guess right now,
Mm-hmm.
right, it's just said you're out of time for whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
you would have to guess one of these 2.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that it's none of these. But
So
yes,
just given
you would
what we
guess
knew
it's
before-
someone in her old life, which would be here and here. Oh, you would guess it might be her.
Because she lives in the same
'Cause
building,
she
but it's
lives in the
the
same
killer's
building.
DNA is male.
Well, that's true. But
Here's what another thing I'm just considering.
and she also followed the case, so we definitely want to talk to her. She followed the case carefully.
That's
closely.
true. Okay, so one thing is that how do we know that? Did we talk to?
I think she told us when we talked.
Can
to
we
her.
go back and look at her dialogue again?
We could.
One thing I would say is I wonder that if the robbery, if robbing that ring, that was a ring that was.
Interesting. Okay. I started working at St. Louis Kira. She's interested. I love the old.
Yeah. Keep going. Do we? I think it would have been a response asking about us. Keep going. Kira, let me know.
Oh, maybe we didn't.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Here we go.
Keep
No,
going.
maybe we didn't.
Jacket. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. No. Wait, let's just.
Oh,
I
you are
followed-
the detective who investigated.
I followed that story carefully
it's
since the body
this
was
guy who followed the story.
in a nearby neighborhood.
He's the monster.
Well, it seems very possible.
I run this whole organization. Yeah.
Well, we also have very little information about. Well, I guess we don't have any information anyway. Okay, so at the moment, I mean, we have very little to go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to probably do is be able to access.
We need more
Okay,
information.
so I think we
definitely
go to
think
him
he's
now.
High value. Yeah.
So if we go to him and ask him about this, maybe he'll give us more information about the case.
Uh-huh.
This, excuse me, the other.
I want to go here, but I can go here. I'm happy to go here first.
Yeah, I just want to see, since he followed the case, if he'll give us more information about it.
All right, now, did we want to ask the doctor? Did we scan this body? Did he tell us?
Yes, we already did.
There's no autopsy, huh?
He said it was mutilated and the anatomy was
that's
missing.
right,
So
right.
hit goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You find the small building that seems like the office of the M organization. You're greeted by a young woman who immediately calls for her colleague after you mention that you're from the police. Okay, we already went through this. Okay, so scan him. Right? He's going to tell us the same thing. Yeah,
You're
this
the
is
detective that investigated. It's a shame you didn't find the monster.
Yeah,
All right, so
scan
now let's talk about this case.
I don't know what to tell you about this person.
All right, well, you do know about the monster killer. He's the guy. He's playing dumb.
You just told us that you did all the...
He's playing dumb. Let's show him the rope and get him to confess.
Okay. Well, let's go. Well, let's go here.
Well, now that we're here, I wonder...
No, I think this is just like...
We asked him about ourselves. He's...
No. Go here and let's figure it out. Let's just talk
We're
to
here.
her.
We're
It
here.
doesn't matter. Time is
We're here.
meaningless now.
I think we gotta
ask her?
We gotta ask her about the
About him?
yeah.
She doesn't know him.
Well, let's find out.
But yeah, sure. Go ahead. We just bumped by all that because we just read it. Look at how bossy I'm being. Justin was my flatmate. We lived together in a small flat.
Do you want to say something first before you continue? Like, good job, Jesse. You were right.
Well, I don't know about that. Justin was my flatmate. We lived here together in this small flat. He was working for some IT company or something like this. And I am currently studying philosophy. We've lived here for 2 years now, and he was just such a nice guy. I cannot believe that he is gone.
One of 11.
If I can
She's such a talker, this woman.
If I can help, I will do anything. I already told the police that I could remember it, but all that I could remember, the more I think about it, the more I'm sure that this blue-eyed person has something to do with it.
What blue-eyed person?
A few days ago, Justin went missing.
Before he went missing.
After you.
No, sorry.
No, I'm not. I didn't mean that like meanly. I like.
A few days before Justin went missing, I heard a sound outside on the corridor. I walked to the door and had to look through the spy hole. I got a good shock when I saw an eye looking at me. Someone was standing in front of the door and was trying to see into the flat. The eyes had an intense blue color, which is all that I was able to see. I backed off, and this must have been audible outside. I heard a quick rush, and when I looked again, the whole corridor was empty.
So, hold on. This is interesting because, like, this guy has almost like a blue... They almost has... Like, this one looks green, this one looks blue. Or blue, but vice versa. He looks like he has blue. This guy does not look like he has blue.
Boy, are our eyes blue, though. Blue eyes peeping into the flat of our murder victim. That must have been him. The more we can learn about this bastard, the higher the chances that we can catch him. It is going to be us.
That was the thing we said.
You already found 2 clues. That is just awesome. The more we learn about the killer, the better. This becomes even more important when you hear the next problem we will face. I was able to get some more information from these strange files that I found, and this will not make it easier for us. Get this. The killer is not even in the game.
Dun dun dun!
The idiot of game writers simply quit the whole case before he implemented the killer itself. This is the reason why it was impossible for me to find him. His card is never mentioned. I'm already getting angry again. This is just the worst. However, I came up with a plan B. As I know, you have all the different cards of the game. So even if the card is not in the game, you must have this card somewhere. We can use this to our advantage, I think. From the unused cards, you should be able to conclude who the killer is by using the hints you gather. Each hint should allow you to rule out cards until you have only the killer left. Isn't that brilliant? When you have the killer, we have to figure out how to solve the case, but this is a task for later on. Oh my gosh, so blue eyes. So you think that's what's going to happen? We're going to keep getting narrowed down stuff?
I guess so. I mean, there's quite a lot of people in here.
So it's male with blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. If I counted correctly, you now have 3 hints on the killer. If you forget them, just ask me about his identity and I will repeat them.
What do you mean 3 hints?
It's saying we know 3 things about him.
What are the 3 things? Blue eyes.
Blue eyes, male,
And
but I don't know what the third one is. It's going to remind us. So we have to ask him about it because it's telling us we already know.
So first of all, we know that it's not any of those people.
That's right.
Oh, that's the third thing.
Oh, maybe.
We know it's not one of those people. Okay. So he doesn't have blue eyes.
And we think it's not us now.
Correct. This kid's eyes look... You look through and see. See, this person looks like he has blue and then green in the other one. So you...
These are possibilities.
No, those first 2 are not possibilities.
Well, this is a possibility. This is not blue eyes, it's green eyes. And he's a little 5-year-old kid.
No.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes. No. No. No.
Whoa. I mean, his outside of his eyes are yellow, but his insides are blue.
They said piercing blue eyes.
True. Okay.
I mean, that's not right. This guy's got piercing blue eyes.
Yes, he does.
This guy...
Yes.
Could be, but I think there should be no.
Yes.
Yes. No. He's got one eye missing.
Yes.
This guy, yes, and not this guy.
Okay.
I want to make 2 piles.
Okay.
I want to make piles of people with piercing blue eyes.
I also want to say, like...
These people are most likely not it. I think it's got to be one of these 4.
Why do you say this guy couldn't be
Because, look what he says, please. If you
piercing
back up.
blue?
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Those aren't piercing. This is this one you're looking at and you're like, is that blue?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, maybe.
But maybe. Okay, we'll leave them in. But can we set these 2 kind of aside? I mean, he doesn't even look like it's blue. It looks...
It's kind of blue, but I agree it's unlikely.
It does say
don't
piercing.
Don't completely rule
Can you
out.
look at that again, please?
Yes, it does say piercing. You want to look at it again?
I do want to look at it again.
I do think we should also at least leave open the possibility it could still be us. But I love
No,
that
he said it was out of the game.
I know, he did.
Keep going back. Keep going back. It's her. She said it.
She says it.
I think. Intense blue color. Okay, so to me, I mean, this guy's got the most intense. I mean, his eyes are really crazy. Yeah. So if you were, this is like, so when you play like Dixit or something, you know, you don't think like, well, that could make sense. No, you think like, why would they have given, and same thing with code names. You're like, well, that could work, but would that have been the first thing the person would have thought of? No. And so reverse engineering it, you would think like, if somebody was looking through the deck and they saw, and they were looking for like things that were out of the ordinary, you would think like, wow, this guy's like got some serious blue eyes, right?
Yeah, but obviously we're not just going to find the guy with the bluest eyes.
No, I'm just saying, well, I guess it's an interesting... Okay, so we're done with this, right?
And we're going to goodbye to him.
Yeah, he keeps shoving his way in here.
Oh, we're talking to her again.
So she didn't see the person, she only saw his eyes, correct?
And what did we ask her about? Just the murder victim? The killer, I mean?
Hold on, yeah, so go.
We asked her about the guy.
Yeah, sorry, yes, I just said the wrong thing. Hold on. You're going.
I'm not trying. I wasn't trying to see what she said.
A few days before. Okay. Go back one maybe.
Back. He's working for an IT company.
Or something like this. So he.
Or he was working for her.
Yeah, maybe. That would make sense. So this is a compelling lead.
Yes.
And so is this.
But we only asked her about this guy. We didn't ask her about these. So maybe we ask her about this. I feel like she already told us about this.
Okay, again, I wanted just to see what she said exactly about the hallway.
All right.
Since that's the hard lead we have. I heard a sound outside of the corridor. I walked to the door and had a look at the spiral. I got a good shock when I saw an eye looking at me. Someone was standing in front of the door and was trying to see into the flat.
Which she lived in with him. So
the eyes had an intense blue color, which was I was able to see. Okay, so I just want to point something out.
Okay.
Okay. The killer, if the killer was casing the joint, he went to the house to try to find. You went to the house to try to find Justin, right?
This is a very important point. It wasn't a random killing.
Correct. A few days later, he gets killed. So he's going there trying to find him, which
Yeah.
means, yes, he's trying to specifically kill him.
Oh, wait. I want to make a point. She says she's convinced that this guy who was peeping in was the killer, but we don't really know if that's true. Although the game is hinting to us.
Well, the game is telling us that we have the blue eyes is a clue
true.
of the
The
killer.
game is. It's true.
So if that's the case, then we know.
It wasn't random killing. Someone was
Correct.
stalking
So
him.
he's probably. So the only thing we know is really that he was working in some kind of IT, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going out with her. She didn't work at either of those places yet. Mm-hmm. So what we have to do is kind of figure out a little bit more about.
It would be useful to track down where he was
since it's
working,
IT,
where she
I think
was
the next point we go is here or here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to go here. But before I do, I think we should ask her more to elaborate on the killer, in case she has more to say.
I don't think it's going to help us, but
I would tend to agree, but I'm so glad. Let him suffer for what he has done. I want you to find him and punish him. She sobs. He killed my flatmate, Justin. He was such a nice guy. He could not even harm a fly. He just did not come back home one day. Why did he have to die? His girlfriend is devastated. Nowadays, we often talk and try to understand what happened. Promise me one thing. If you find the killer, make his life miserable.
okay.
Okay.
So I think we go to
Do you want to say, like, do you recognize this chord? And she's like, yeah, it was my.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
Seems
I guess
unlikely.
it does seem unlikely, but it could be.
I don't want to see us get this away from me. I do not want to imagine what Justin went through.
Okay, so the big question is this woman
At Scotland Yard.
You're sure?
Oh, I'm not sure at all.
That's what I'm saying. Is she at Southwark? Is she at Scotland?
She's not at. I don't think she's at Southwark. She got taken away by the police.
All right, let's go to Scotland Yard.
I'm really curious to see if she's there. I mean, this could be a wild goose chase, but I'm awfully curious about it.
Opposite of the room, you see your colleague Teresa looking through documents. Patricia Maxwell sitting in a small cell looking at it with a strange look. Let's talk to her.
Pretty cool.
Okay. Well, this happened before. We've talked to people.
Yes, we have. But you know what's so cool about this? Like, we finished the case. Like, there's no reason for there to be anything after that, and yet here she is. And I think she's breaking fourth wall.
I think so. That's possible. It's very possible. I know you saw the files. From your look, I can see that you know the truth. I was in the process of decoding this strange file when you rang my bell. So this leaves me with a question. What is it that you want? Okay, scan. Do we want to ask her what she knows first?
Sure.
Is that going to help us or no? I don't know. What do you want from me? Stop asking questions about myself. I won't answer you. I know that you're out there. You remember?
I know that you are out there.
Okay. So.
She's breaking fourth wall.
This or this?
Yeah, all of them. Like the file she found on the USB stick is the game file.
Yeah. So this is the victim from 5 years ago. I've not met him before as far as I know. This must mean that I was not part of the original storyline. I really wonder why I was chosen. Hey you, do I look like a professional hacker to you? Oh yes, you cannot answer me directly. I forgot. So someone else is the hacker.
She's not the hacker, I guess. Or something.
She has a hacker layer in there. This is a little bit...
But she's breaking fourth wall.
I know,
she's
but that's what I'm
saying.
saying. She's not the hacker. It means that wasn't her house.
I'm not sure she's not the hacker. She might be saying,
She said, do I look like a hacker?
I know, but she might be saying, like, look, this game design is weird. Like, I shouldn't have been the character.
Okay.
Let's ask about the killer.
This is the original culprit. You have to see if this character is somewhere mentioned. Maybe we can catch him based on additional information. Okay, so that's kind of what we already knew or whatever.
Cords and restraining device.
That's not
I know, but I want to see.
You're one of the original items. This is fascinating. Because you're now aware of the player being out there, you seem to be able to do a limited set of actions that are not steered from outside, like remembering items that were not mentioned in the case so far, or talk to this player. Wait, what? What does that last part mean?
You remember one of the original items. You're now aware of the player being out there. You seem to be able to do a limited set of actions.
She's talking to him. Like, remember, I know that much in the case so far, or talk to this player.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, talk to this player. Yeah, you're right. Oh, very good. I just sort of glanced over that. She's talking to him.
Yeah.
And about us. So now the only thing I wanted to say is, like, we didn't get a chance to show her stuff. Can we show her the USB stick that we weren't?
No, that's all out.
Can we just try it? I just want to make sure.
It did tell us to remove them.
Did it say remove them, or did it say...
Go back and look.
I will. Like, even if it did tell us to remove them, I still want to show it to him.
Sure, that's fine. I just...
Okay.
Stop. You're just there. Keep going. 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 Keep going.
Wait, what's this illegal activities?
Had a diary where she recorded her illegal activities. That is far from what this was.
The whole world is actually a game.
keep
This
going.
is the game stick of the game.
Yeah, hold on a second. Just let it keep going. There's instructions on what to do. So
Okay.
keep going. Keep going. Here's my plan. Okay. Keep going.
So no one would actually find them.
Keep going. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, yeah, back up. Sorry. So he thought that no one would find them since the required cards are not part of the new case he wrote. Left in some... Okay, keep going. Probably, but I already have a solution. The relevant clues will only be real if you scan cards from the original. Oh, that's...
No, I think it's saying from the 5 years ago case.
Therefore, you can put aside the items that you already found. These are only relevant for the relevant
You're right.
case.
Okay, well, I want to scan... Let me just scan
you
one,
wanna scan
and then... But then I think you're absolutely right. It does say exactly what you said. Very clearly.
I do not know what happened here. I have a suspicion that the program I wrote stumbled across some unknown network or system and downloaded the game file that you saw. I was able to decipher some of the content, but I never saw such a file before. Community scenario. What kind of file element is that? Anyway, I was able to extract some information from files you already know. We should try to use this for our advantage.
Okay, so it was a new piece of dialogue that we just heard, but I do think it is pretty clearly telling us
that
we don't need
this
these
stuff. Just for fun.
But that was cool.
See what happens when you scan the scarab thing. Because she did tell us that she doesn't look like a hacker, even though... Well, I work with communities, some of them have bugs. Scarab is my bug. Let's use Scarab as my pseudonym. And that sounds strange, but I was not really thinking that. Really me thinking that. Okay, so she's telling you she doesn't look like a hacker because she shouldn't be the hacker.
She shouldn't be the hacker in that game, but she is.
I mean, I am kind of curious about like this jacket and stuff. Okay, so... Well, we need something else to work with here, right?
Did we ask her about this guy?
Okay, so let's just use this as a... I believe
she
so.
knows
Hit
some
the thing.
information.
We use history quite a bit in this.
Yes, we do. Rope, Justin, yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my rationale. She's told us what she knows about him.
Yes.
She's just found out about this too. She's now no longer useful to us.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay. So I think we gotta go.
Unless we had some new cards.
He worked for an IT.
He's not really an IT guy.
I know, but it's just something like that. It's the only other place to go. Unless he worked for there, which is possible.
Yes.
But I think we should try him first since he seems the most likely. Unless you have a better suggestion.
I do not have a better suggestion.
You like it?
Yep.
Okay, electronic shop. Yep. Keep going. 53 and 24.
Oh, I want to talk to that woman too.
This woman? The old things, yeah.
She said, did she say like she's been following the case? I thought she did.
I don't think so. Okay. Scan this guy, please. Right, because we're still stuck on old.
Yes, we want to see if we can find who he works for.
How about this? Okay. Can we just pop up to the Westminster? I don't want to ask everybody about everything.
I want to ask her.
About...
I think she was following the murder.
I don't think so.
She's got something to say about everyone.
That's
can
true.
See into their hearts and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so scan both of them.
It's a tragedy what happened to this young man. He seems like such a nice... Do you have any leads on the killer? Well,
we'd love to answer
do you
that.
have any leads on the killer is the question.
No.
You got nothing for us.
Yeah. Okay, so instead of wandering around asking everybody and everywhere, the only other IT thing is here. Right? Yes. Westminster, which I cannot reach.
Goodbye.
I could, but it's much easier for you to reach. Okay.
City planning offices.
Yeah, your stolen data is useless. We don't care about that. Star is one of our employees. Yep.
Okay.
He worked in the IT department, was responsible for our server. Oh, I forgot. I got to do his voice. Justin is sorry. He was one of our employees. He worked in the IT department and was responsible for our servers. It is such a tragedy that he's dead now. I hope you're able to find this asshole who did it. Sorry for my language. It just makes me furious. Dag nabbit. I would like to help you during your investigation, but I do not know much about him. He mentioned a girlfriend at one point, but I do not know who she is. We do. Mm-hmm. There seems also to be a close friend who helps him sometimes.
Ooh.
A few weeks before Justin went missing, a man came in here to ask for some information about his work routine. He wanted to throw a surprise party and he didn't know his usual office hours. Yeah, interesting. Hold on. So I was listening to, my wife and I listened to the Case File podcast, which is fantastic.
Yeah, you bugged it on a previous...
Did I talk about it? I think we just talked about walking.
No, you mentioned it. Interesting.
So, there was some woman and she was doing like a reading or whatever, and she's like, I'm gonna do your numerology. I need your date of birth, your social security number, your mother's maiden name, all this stuff, and you're like, interesting. And this woman went missing, obviously, and you're like, yep, you were killed for your information. Why would you be so stupid as to give like all of your vital information to somebody?
Why are you even going to the numerologist?
Okay, normally we would not release such information, but he clearly knew Justin. He knew his full name, his address, L.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he lived with her. Right. Actually, we could... Well, no, let's leave him here because we're going to be scanning. And even the bank that he paid his loan to. So I gave him the info. If you can find him, maybe he can tell you the name of the girlfriend.
Well, we know the girlfriend.
Whoa, but he gave us literally nothing.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, let's ask about the killer. See if he knows anything about this. But...
Isn't it a tragic what happened? The killer's running around, blah, blah, blah. Scan this. I mean, should we be scanning these people? Can we scan them? Because he talked to the guy.
That's interesting.
Scan him and see what happens.
That's a great...
That
is great. He talked to this guy. That's a great...
You said great like 4 times. I'll take it.
I mean, this would make it a little too easy, though. If this is the person. But it's a very clever idea. It didn't occur.
Well, I mean, he saw the person.
Yeah, I mean, that's very...
It just seems like it's going to be too easy if he, like...
but it was very smart of you to think of that.
He can't remember this.
It would be better if he was like, I can't remember what he looked like. Yeah. Like, he should know this guy. But what this guy told us is he wasn't yet added into the game. So this person has no dialogue reactions because he's not in the game.
I see.
So it's just an overlooked flaw of the case file that this guy's wasn't.
All right. So what are we gonna do?
Well, this guy, he knew
him as well. Yeah, okay, yeah. So let's goodbye
him
to
this guy.
And this here.
Yeah.
So we know it was a roommate, but like he gave us nothing.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Okay, scanned Justin there. Somebody's got to.
Well, wait a minute. We do know something, right? We know that the murderer was not. Well, we already knew it wasn't one of these. But he isn't a guy working for this organization, right?
And that doesn't really help us.
No, it doesn't.
We need some other thing to rule somebody out.
You don't know about this person? He worked in your place.
He might not have worked there when that guy worked there.
Oh, that's true.
So that's like a complete dead end.
That's true.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. We're sort of at a dead end here.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like that. Okay, so we know where he worked, but it's weird that he didn't give us. Go look back through what he said because he worked there. Right.
He could be making up this bullshit story. Justin was one of our employees. He was responsible for the servers. It is interesting that they're both. Don't know much about him. He mentions a girlfriend. Close friend who helps him sometimes.
All right. I mean,
we knew his full name, his address, and even the bank that we pay his loan to. So I gave him info.
So just to look at it, we've talked to everyone at these places.
We haven't gotten any new item cards, to these two. And we haven't gotten any new item cards.
This is the only place we haven't been yet.
Well, off we go.
There we go.
It is weird that we didn't get any more information from this guy.
I mean, searching the scene is useless. We've already done that.
We didn't show him the cords and restraints.
Just keep going. You can ask if you want, but it seems kind of silly. Okay. Hit the next, because that's just from the robbery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet you I know what it's going to be.
What's the chandelier? Hold on.
Yeah, I did notice that last time. Hey, there's a big...
I see
Nice
that
little-
chandelier.
Okay. I'm just wondering if like that ring is going to end up being like he bought an engagement ring or something like that for his girlfriend.
That's interesting.
Okay.
No, we are not.
Looking at this picture, I have a feeling that I saw the pictures on the news. Or you're not, but give me a second. It's 1 of 7, so keep going.
I think you might be right.
Now I remember I saw him in a car. 4.
Oh, we got a new item.
So you can read all the
Sitting on the passenger seat a while ago. I think he was sleeping. I could not see the driver, but they went down that alley over there. I remember that I was wondering what someone would do in that abandoned area. You found the murder scene? This is a guy talking to us. Our guy's talking to us. This is the most important progress so far. We always knew that our victim was not killed in that small forest, but we were not able to find the real crime scene. Let us go over to that alley that the jeweler mentioned and have a look at it. What is this bullshit? Nothing is here. It's just empty. Wait a minute. It might be impossible for me to see that scene. This is from 5 years ago. All the evidence would be gone by now. There's just no chance that I can see it the way it was back then, but I bet you can. If my theory is correct, then you should be able to see the original scene. It's going to be a new location. I have no good feeling about this, but it's our best lead so far. Go and investigate that scene. It should be available now.
Okay, hit next. Goodbye. And then search scene. Hit good. Whoa. Hold on. I want to just for funsies, I want to see what he says about the ring.
And can we see what he says about the vehicle? He might tell us where it was.
That's true.
Where did you find that ring? This is my most valuable piece. I usually store it in my safe to be sure no one can steal it. The last time I saw it was when I showed it to that nice lady.
Okay.
I will need to check my whole store to make sure that nothing else is stolen. I will let the police. It's
not,
cool.
Yeah.
It's cool about that.
Right,
We're like in this case after it should be solved and done. That's pretty fucking cool.
As
I'll
I told you,
have to
this
bleep
is
that
the
out.
car that I saw Sunday before on the passenger spot. The driver was a killer. Okay, so we didn't know that. Okay, so he's not telling it. That's not going to be.
So if we say goodbye,
yes,
get the
goodbye
location?
and look at the thing. Search the scene. Here we go.
Okay, interesting.
Flip it over on its side. So this is a third scene, huh?
Yeah.
This is a book.
Whoa, this is
Chair.
the crazy
Hold on, there's
doctor.
an anatomy
Yeah,
picture.
and a book and chair.
An
We're
oil
in,
drum.
like, some
a lot of bricks.
Basin. Ooh.
There he is. There's a. Oh, this head is missing. It's been cut off.
Yeah.
And there's a handprint, bloody handprint.
What's this?
There's his head.
Yeah, there's his head. What's this, Greg?
It's like a grate.
Oh,
That's where the
grate in
blood
the
is
ground,
flowing
yeah.
into you.
Wow, this is some crazy
There's
doctor. Whoa, another body
yeah.
tied upside down.
Yeah, and then what's this here?
Draining blood.
So that doesn't really look like him.
Tools.
Maybe that's somebody else.
Yeah, it could be someone else.
There's a skull, some
What is
organs,
A hand. Holy Christ.
and a bottle,
What?
and some kind of padlock door. I think that's it. I know you want to look again, so just do it.
Yeah, let's look again. Let's just take a look at that door. Wow, we found a... Now, Greg, do you want to investigate this theme thoroughly, or just move along? Let's call the team to do it. Let's let someone else do it.
Jesse, do you want to just take a rudimentary look around, or would you like to call in our forensics team to go over every inch of this place?
It's a weird door here. Anything weird? This chair is a little weird. Anything at the ceiling? In every case, we look at the ceiling. We never see anything. What is this thing behind his head, though? Is it just a piece of tool? See, lots of tools. One. Great. In that grate, we might find stuff.
Great.
So this guy's
Do
crazy.
you think bags of
whoever
fashion
this
is the thing, and trash? Do we need that?
Trash.
Flammable objects. There was that bottle there. Did you look at it a third time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Look, it's organs in a jar, in a
Yeah,
bowl,
something.
and a skull. This guy's crazy. There's definitely a jar here.
Okay.
See if you can find something for like a body in a bag. Bag.
I think I pulled bag aside. Maybe not. I think. Oh yeah, okay. So.
Wow, that place is creepy.
Did we have?
Why is it such a weird door? Oh, weird door. Like, who built a door like that?
I mean, okay, so footprints and traces would be the
Blood
blood
handprint.
handprint, yeah. DIY tools isn't right,
Yeah.
but it's either that or melee weapons. Blood and organs, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a bottle of something there.
Yeah, there is.
Flammable objects, because that's the oil drum.
Okay,
There's a book on the table.
Yeah, book for
Decoration
sure.
items is what I would guess for the
Yeah.
pictures. And we got office materials, tableware, bedding, kitchen utensils, plants, liquids,
Liquid.
bags and fashion.
Bags and fashion, yeah.
Trash,
I wouldn't really call that
Clothes,
bags of
food.
fashion, but
medicine, boxes, sport, toiletries, firearms, signs and symbols, photos, gardening tools,
no,
that be
not
more-
garden tool, more DIY tools.
farms and games and toys.
Okay, you got any preference where you want to start? Blood and organs?
Yeah, let's do that. This is sick. You have to agree with Liam. The game developer is clearly overdoing it. There's a lot of blood here, and there are even body parts lying around. It just takes a few seconds to get a clear picture of this slaughterhouse. On the table, you can see a decapitated body of a young man, 41. Okay, so
totally
this is
new
yeah, I told you, it
victim.
didn't really look like him.
Yep.
Ooh, I wonder if it's one of these people. Yep, it's this guy.
Oh, this is great. It's ruling out
eliminated
someone.
one of our people. Yeah,
Oh, put him
okay.
out. He's still a thing.
Well, he's now on our case.
Uh-huh.
There's blood of the person all over the place. You can see a bloody handprint on the table, which must be from the killer. So now we don't need traces. And
Whoa. Don't take away traces.
what is this here? This is the footprints and traces? The print is smeared and you are not able to lift any fingerprints, but from the size you can tell that it originated from a grown-up person.
Okay,
There
so
are
grown up.
tools.
There goes the kid.
Ah, perfect.
Although he looks like a big lanky kid.
So this guy,
There's another kid.
but I think that is a person capable of leaving
Okay.
a handprint. I think we're just eliminating him as a suspect.
There are tools lying around everywhere that you should investigate a little bit closer. I don't know if there's the fingerprint. The print is smeared and you are not able to lift any fingerprints, but from the size you can tell it originated from a grown-up person. There are tools lying around everywhere that you should investigate a little bit closer. In the back corner, you can see a body bag.
30.
30.
Okay.
With blood dripping to the floor. Maybe you should investigate this.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you think? On a shelf, you find even more body parts. There's a big jar with a heart in it. You do not want to know how this got in there. One frame below, you can see a cut-off human hand. You decide to take a fingerprint, 07, from it to identify the person this hand belongs to.
Can I just make another thing here? We've said, we've eliminated a suspect,
Mm-hmm.
which clearly in game terms we're rifling them down. But if we weren't expressively told that, we could consider that this was the person that was looking after him.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom of the human skull, you're relieved that this is just made of plastic. That's funny. Okay. Kind of flew.
Okay, so the blood and organs.
Fingerprint.
Cool. Oh, what about?
Fingerprint.
Oh, fingerprint. Yeah, sorry.
Body bag.
Bags of fashion.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't actually
hold on.
search this yet.
Yeah, that's true. But hold on a second. I want to see something here. Okay, yeah, I guess it won't tell us. Okay, go ahead. Oh, and scan this too. Oh, this is what told us this was the victim.
Whoa, what's happening?
Yeah,
No,
we don't.
didn't.
Like for this could be that there's going to be a third victim, but there's not evidence for information.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't where it's just the original case. Okay.
Interesting. I bet the developer White had his mind set upon a character to be the third victim, wondering if this person has a feeling about how close they came to being killed.
Okay.
Okay. Books.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're talking to Liam now.
Yeah. Goodbye.
He really is trying to inject himself into this, and
Yeah,
we're
get
not
away.
making a mistake by not listening to him. Contains details on the gruesome things the killer did to these poor people. It's a little diary.
Uh-huh.
Is that it? There's no more information. It's like, hey, here's a diary about it.
Wait, it did. Oh, it didn't say. Add a clue.
No, it didn't.
Okay, keep going.
Blood and organs, we did that, right?
Yeah, it said it did say that, didn't it? That's what we used to get all this. Oh, this was probably on here. I think that there was one additionally before this that I think said.
Okay.
Decoration items. That's the tool. Yeah.
Tools.
So we'll take the melee items away. Yeah.
You have a closer look at the tools that are placed around the table in the middle of the room. You find a hammer, a saw, a screwdriver, and tape. That looks like it was bought at a normal hardware store. These tools are not supposed to be used for any medical application.
No kidding.
You get a little sick when you think about the way these tools must have been used during the last few days and weeks. I mean, we should say this is not like a murder out of jealousy. It's not a murder because he did someone wrong, right? This is like a sadistic killer who's killing a whole bunch of people.
So, as this case has gone on, we've been getting a little speedier. But I do think it's worth considering the fact that, yes, it does seem like he just killed him to like practice taking organs out. But are you just forgetting the fact that we know that he was looking...
Yeah.
Right. Now, that actually makes... So if we consider something for a moment, what if he looked for him and removed his organs because he wanted those specific organ for organ
I like
trafficking?
the way you're thinking. Like
he looked.
It's not. This is not an organ trafficking. This is someone who's sadistic,
No,
cutting
no.
off hands. But I like the way you're thinking. Like whatever his madness is of killing people, like there was a
Well, but
reason
maybe it's
why.
not that, yeah.
There's a reason why.
Right. Maybe he's looking to like find the exact organs that he needs
I like that
to
one.
like
I like
save
that.
his wife is like sick and she needs a new lung. I don't know, and he goes and kills this
It's
guy.
very
for his lung.
unusual though for the killer to be tracking down like a serial killer who's crazy like that to
What was
be
that movie
tracking
with
down.
like Madeline Stowe or whatever, where she's given like the killer's eyes and he's.
I do remember what you're talking about. Yeah.
There's like a lot of there's a bunch of movies where like the person's eyes are like Mark Hamill gets an eye in that John Carpenter.
What did they say about how this guy was killed? Like his guts were taken out or something?
They removed some organs.
Right, remove some
Okay,
organs until we see a heart in a jar. Like it is like an organ. Well, remember our whole first case had to do with organ harvesting.
Well, but I was just thinking like, if you're looking to this person, if you're looking to him specifically, and you take something specific from him, it's because you think there's a reason he hunted him down, right? And he's taken some of his organs. So like, is that to replace like his own organs that are failing, or who knows? All right, do you want to do because there's a bottle of something there?
Sure, I mean why not? I do think we should send those fingerprints to the lab.
Keep going. You have a look around the room and see 2 posters about the human anatomy hanging around. Someone clearly was interested in how the human body works. From the looks of it, you would bet that the simple posters are not enough for this person anymore. You found a clue?
Flammable objects. I'm not sure this is actually there, but let's see what we got. No. Okay. Bottles. Do you want me to scan this?
There was a bottle on the shelf, wasn't there?
There was a bottle on the shelf. Maybe
Could be
it was
important.
formaldehyde or something. No.
Okay. What now?
Well, I think we bring this to the lab. Where does the lab go?
We don't need that.
What do you mean we don't need that?
We don't need it.
What are you talking about?
According to your logic, when we look over the crime scene, that's all we need. We don't need to bring in specialists. Using the logic
I'm
that
not sure that I ever said we shouldn't bring in the lab.
I know you said we
I
look
just
around.
said
I had
it's
suggested we
also
bring.
our responsibility to do a bit of a scan of our own.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't matter. I mean, we looked around.
You're right. Let's not play this game. Let's just call the lab in to do the work and have them report to us what they find. Like, why bother us? Why do we need to do it? Just call the lab.
All right, so we're gonna clearly got. Well, we could look at the body of this guy, but we should.
That's
I think.
interesting.
Why don't we let her work first because she needs a little while.
Sometimes she needs her.
Again, sorry, Lucian, but we do not have any drugs for you. We just got bloody gore. Okay, so we want to find out who this person was.
Like, she's only really interested in cases that involve drug seizures.
I ran this week as response to Harry Barker. Okay, we already knew that, but now we know his name. Okay.
We didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah, that's
so we
how we
took
got
his
it.
fingerprint. I see.
Okay, so
I thought it was the fingerprint we got of the bloody fingerprint, but it said we didn't. There wasn't a way to get.
okay, this we've already asked about this stuff. Okay, let's ask about the car.
Oh,
See if
not a
she
bad
can
idea.
find a trace of the car or something. Okay, doesn't need. We need to find.
We need
the
to
car.
find it first.
Okay. I mean, we're gonna look at all this.
What? Oh yeah. Okay. I thought you were throwing those away.
These 2, I think we should ask the doctor about.
Okay, that's a good idea. There's some blood on that saw, but I am not able to tell you from whom it is. There are some interferences on the blade that prevent a proper analysis. The only thing I can say is that it is from a male person.
We already knew that.
Yeah. Next. Blood and organs? You think that's... I don't think these... There's too much blood here. I could determine that it was coming from...
Again, either read it louder.
Sorry. There's too much blood here. I could determine that it was coming from at least 3 different persons. I was able to identify 2 of them, 31 and 41. Those are 2 victims. Okay. All right. I think these are just posters.
I think this is not going to help us, but
Yeah.
but she could have said there's a fingerprint on it or something. Okay, so
Bag?
no. Let's go to him and ask him about the bodies.
Okay.
Or you could scan this. I mean, it's fine.
I mean, this was just the victim that they had.
Yeah, it's another body. And he might be able to figure out who it
They
is.
said it's not in the game. Yeah, that's the thing. The game didn't write dialogue.
Oh,
for.
yeah, you're right. Okay.
Okay, let's
Go to him. Yeah, so let's scan the doctor. He's going to give us an autopsy on him. But I think he did say that this body wasn't in it, but let's just have him scan it anyway.
Okay.
Just for fun.
Yeah, it's going to go dot.
Probably. Oh no, there's a second victim. This one even has a removed head. The edges where it was severed look very irregular. The killer's used a saw. It also looks like his left hand has been removed. Probably died from blood loss, but this is hard to tell just now. Well, thanks for nothing. Scan the bag. We can get dot.
It's like this guy is experimenting with putting together Frankenstein, doing organ transplants on his own. All right, let's scan the bag. Dot.
Okay. So what now? I mean, we are saying that it's not one of these two, right? These guys are not, because his eyes look like a little green. His look, they could be green. He said piercing blue eyes. I mean, it is definitely one of these three, right? I mean, we could kind of rule him out if we had to, because he said an adult person, but I don't think so. Okay.
We never spend any time with the criminologist. I'd like to ask the criminologist about the unknown killer and see if he can say anything about what kind of person
he was kind of like a little hint system, which I don't like.
I don't like it either, but is that true?
I thought maybe it was.
Can we try him once and ask about we never use him? It feels like we should use him a little.
Well, I just don't like the idea of a hint system.
Well, I agree with you.
You agree with me, but you're going to scan him.
I agree that we shouldn't use a hint system. I'm not sure I agree that he's the hint system, though.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Like, here's the hint system. We have almost no leads on him, and he might be out there searching for his next victim.
Okay, so let's, again, review what we know. Okay, this is a huge lead right here, this vehicle.
Absolutely.
Okay, he's already looked at it. We don't know, right? But is there, like, who would know?
Did anyone tell us anything about the vehicle? Like, if we ask our woman, can she say...
He saw it.
Right. But he didn't tell us any details about it.
So, what
Did he tell us any details about the car? Did he say it was an old car? Did he say anything about it?
But let's consider this. This is the part of the game that I find fun, and I find that as we've been playing this for 4 hours now or whatever it is, I don't know. Like, we start to lose... I feel like we get a little more tenacious and start to lose track of like the thing that makes the game enjoyable. So I'd like to slow down for a moment and just kind of consider this. Okay, at the moment.
Sorry, can I just make one point before I forget it?
Yeah, please do.
So he did give us a big clue. He told us our guy was sitting as a passenger in the car. Right. So that would suggest he knows.
He said that he looked like he was asleep.
Did he?
Yes.
I don't remember.
So I assumed that he's
drugged
dead.
or dead.
Drugged or dead.
I see. Where is it? Okay, it's before you...
Oh, here it is. You go back.
Okay. Make sure nothing is stolen. Oh, this is the car I saw sometime before. On the passenger seats, I spotted the recent victim. Maybe the driver was the killer. I did not see his face. Okay, he didn't see it. Okay, so before that, that's the ring. He was happy to get it back. Okay. I saw him
I think he was sleeping.
Sitting on the passenger. I think he was sleeping.
So he was dead at that point.
He was dead, I see.
Okay. So
we don't
But it is a good point that you would consider that maybe he knew that but wouldn't help us. Okay. So they drove the car, right? Now, the other thing is we could figure out so whoever this is another important key. Whoever found him knew all of his information. So what we know about the killer is that somehow he's found out all this information, right? Right? Like about him. He knew.
He knew where he lived. He knew
his bank information. He knew all that stuff.
And yet he needed to know his schedule or something.
Yeah, which is a little weird. But anyway, but who could have seen this car is the question, right? So how do these two... I mean, we tried scanning him with him and it came up blank, right? So... would someone know him what the connection is between these two, right? And how would we know? Who would know what the car looked like, right? Now we could ask about vehicles. We could say, "Hey, have you seen that car around?" Because, or her. Actually, she would know better.
I think she's a great person to ask about the vehicle and about this guy. If we can find someone who knows both of them, that's a little iffy.
These two right now are not helpful to us because they don't. Right now, the only lead we have is the vehicle and this guy.
Yes.
And I think that most people are. It might be different. We might be able to scan him with him now, and he might say, "Yeah, that was the guy," or "No, that wasn't the guy." But I doubt it.
Well, he worked here, so if we found out that this guy was related to this place, that would be interesting.
But I don't think this is going to help us.
Remember, he said he has like a friend.
Right.
Or was he talking about the killer?
He was talking about the killer because that's what I was asking him.
I do think, though, that anyone who knows him should be asked about him.
Yep.
And the
right
car.
now,
And the car.
The best evidence we have right now to follow along is the vehicle, right?
I think, but I agree, vehicle number one, if we can find someone. But I think while we go around asking about vehicle, we ask about this guy. If we can find the connection between these two.
He told us about the car.
Right. Did we ask him about this guy?
Who?
Did we ask this guy about this guy? Like, does this guy know this guy?
I don't see why.
Well, where are we?
We're talking to him.
Can I say goodbye? Unless you want to see if this guy is a criminal. The hacker might be able to tell us who this guy is. Do we ask him about it?
He's not been working in this case like that.
Okay, well, we're in Mayfair. We're here with this guy.
Yeah. So what I would suggest at this point, and I'm not like 100%, but if we follow the car, right, we need to know if somebody else has seen the car, right? It doesn't seem like they would have seen it. She might have seen it.
These two are
those are the two the most likely to have seen it.
I agree
so I say we go there and ask one of them about the car.
I agree with that. I would like to ask, though, before we do, that since we're in this location, that we ask him about this other victim in case. I agree it's not likely.
Well, I mean, it's worthwhile. I mean, I don't think it's going to be useful, but it could.
He did break the case wide open for us.
Yeah, he did.
So let's see if he happens to recognize this guy. I don't think he will, but he's just saying.
Oh, the car without knowing. Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, let's goodbye to this guy. Where do you want to go first?
You pick.
I want to talk to this woman. She's very talkative. And she lived with this guy, so she's my number one guess about.
Find the small building that seems like just. We already know this. Right? Scan her and the vehicle.
Would like to know if you've
It's the same
seen
thing.
this vehicle.
Too much to say, Trish. She doesn't know what to tell us. Okay.
Okay, can I ask about this guy?
Fine, but I think we got to stop asking everybody about this guy at some point. Well, maybe I'm wrong. No. Okay. Go there and ask about that vehicle.
Well, do you want to ask him?
I don't see the relevance, but yeah, I get this at this point.
What's
it's just a complete Wild
he's
West.
not.
I don't. The part about this I don't like is that it's now like the Wild West.
Well,
we got everybody out. We're asking everybody about.
I don't mind that it's like periodic.
Go ahead, just hit it next a bunch. I just don't want to ask. I just don't want to go around scanning every item for every person.
We don't like that strategy, but it doesn't know what to tell us. Okay. All right.
So can we go to? No, it's not worthwhile. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Go to Cam.
Go to her. She's gonna know this car.
Ooh, but you know what?
What? Yes.
This is a bank that does loans, and they might have done a loan on the car.
And they might.
Let's try. I like that. I like that better.
Oh, you want to before we go to her? Okay, let's go to the
just
bank.
to see if it's like.
Well, the bank is the connection.
They might be able to tell us if there's a loan on it.
That's
She could very easily say, "Well, that car's been here a bunch." Yeah. Oh, sorry.
To the bank officer. Yeah, I think the vehicle loan is not a bad idea.
I mean, I just don't like the idea of wandering around with no real reason to ask people like. Just hit yes. It's the same things we've seen before.
You were the one who investigated disappearance. Okay.
So there's the vehicle. We get a little impatient here.
Let's make sure there aren't things we're supposed to.
Well, that's a good point.
Could be the car of one of our employees.
But I'm not really sure.
Do you think this is going to be this guy's car?
That's interesting. Maybe, yeah. I mean, that we. Oh, good job, Jesse.
Well, he's not an employee, but he's one of the customers. So two bank
Especially
customers
people
were
think that we
killed.
have something to do with it. Okay, so probably this person works at the bank. Hit next.
No,
Please.
look, he's a customer. He's one of
Yeah,
our
yeah,
recent...
I'm saying, but maybe the killer works at the bank.
Yeah, Harry Barker.
He knew
Yeah,
about
he
the
works
loan
at the
information.
bank. He works at the bank.
Yeah,
he
for
drove
sure.
the vehicle and he works
Okay,
at the bank.
let's keep going through this. Now I think I've not seen him in a while. Last time he was 3 weeks ago. He wanted to complain about someone at the bank. Interesting. However, his description did not really help me. It was like something a person of average height
without any glasses or piercing
that matches any of my place. Okay, hold on a second. So.
God damn. That's good teamwork.
Okay, so if
you were smart, go to the bank.
Yeah, okay, so even if he was here, he's now out, right?
Yep.
And he said he was...
Without any glasses or piercings.
Okay, so we're going to take this kid out.
Yep.
Right, and
yeah.
These two, one of these two.
Yeah.
I mean, it could still technically be this guy, but I don't see piercing blue eyes. They look almost like they could be green.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I don't know if we've read this. So now that I think of it, I've not seen him in a while. The last time he was here was 3 weeks ago. He wanted to complain about someone at the bank. However, his description did not really help me. It was something like a person of average height without any glasses or piercings. That matches many of my employees. I do not remember what he was complaining about, but I told him that I could not really help him with this issue. That's the last time I actually saw him. Why would the shithead of game writer put something like this into the case? From what I know, he's not really the most creative writer. This person, our second victim, complained about must have been the killer.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we figured that out. From the description we got, we can conclude that the killer does not wear glasses or has piercings. We are getting closer and closer. I can feel it. Okay. I don't mind that it tells us stuff we already figured out.
Hit goodbye again,
but
please.
We didn't need that. But wow, okay, so that really helped. But now, how would we find out?
It's not going to help.
They
you
don't
have
know
to,
this. They don't know these people. It's like not in the game, which is a cool idea. But like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So now.
So what do we do now? We don't. The vehicle is no longer useful to us. Oh wait. Did she say this is the car of Harry? What did she say?
She said the car might be the car of one of my employees, but I'm not sure.
Okay. So we know the vehicle. Well, we already knew the vehicle was for the. Right. So we know one of the people. They work at the bank, and it's one of those two.
Right. And I mean, so how? We're not going to get information. We're not going to get anyone to say it's this guy because he's not in the game yet.
I understand that.
So
we have to eliminate.
We have to eliminate one of them.
So
in fact, we could take a shot. Like if we were forced to, we would guess
one of those two.
Right.
But we got to be able to figure it out, right?
Correct.
So what now?
We know this guy is a customer at the bank, so there's probably no more to figure out about him, right? Like that's the end of his role in this game, I think.
Well, yeah, because he gave us a vital clue.
He gave us the vital clue, and he's not gonna. This girl's not gonna know him. He wasn't a friend of our guy.
I mean, this guy's eyes aren't piercingly, but they definitely are. Yeah, they're.
And she didn't say piercing either. She didn't use that word.
But whatever. She said brilliant. She said
something
somewhere
like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so how would we?
Wait, she just said the vehicle probably belonged to somebody, but
she said I think it may have belonged to one of my employees, but I'm not sure. You want me to bring it up?
Okay, so what is the other?
Could be the car of one of our employees. But
so here's the other thing, is that the tools. Did he buy the tools from somewhere?
Interesting. We don't have.
Or did he buy the items from somebody? So, I mean, he bought a book.
He wrote in that book. It seemed. Where is that book? We didn't need it. Like she's an antiquities people.
Well, that's what I was
thinking,
an
old book. Did we not get to keep that book?
It wasn't a clue.
For sure.
So what I'm wondering, yes, it was not. So what I'm wondering is like, could we? I mean, if there was like a hardware store, we could go ask them about like if somebody had bought those. Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
Yeah. So I got it.
Well, hold on. First. No. I wanted to say. I think that like maybe we should consider that the bank employee.
I knew you were going.
We just took a quick restroom break, and Jesse says that to me, so it's like I'm gonna sneak that in first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the bookstore girl who works in the bank, and that guy's got books and posters.
Yeah, it does seem like we're kind of like bumbling around, just sort of like asking people some stuff out.
No, I feel good about it. Okay. I feel good about it.
All right, so
we're gonna say goodbye to her.
Scan her. Scan this vehicle. We haven't talked to her since the whole thing, by the way, but hopefully she'll help us too. I saw this car here several times now. Do you know who the owner is? Should I be afraid of this? Please tell me if you have information on this. Ah, look at that. She doesn't know.
Yeah. Oh, I thought for sure.
Maybe scan him?
Yeah. But he's not useful to us.
Well, she might know he complained about somebody from being in there.
Yeah, maybe. Someone followed him.
Okay, so nothing.
Oh, I was sure she was going to be like, I know that guy.
This is what I mean, where you're just kind of like, well...
Yeah, I think we asked her that before. I thought for
I don't
sure
think we talked to her since...
No, I think we did.
All right, what else could we
I thought for sure she was going to be like, oh, yes, I know the guy.
Did we? Have we?
Can we see that book again? Because while we're talking to her, I want to make sure.
It did not say you found a clue.
Are you sure? I mean, I agree.
It was also, something that he wrote, not...
It's true, but he had to buy that book to write it in. He didn't make his own.
But it wasn't a clue. No, it's the lock-picking book. 17 is her.
Wait, where? Oh,
this was because this was supposed... The receipt is what brought us there. This book did not...
So the book that was in there... But that's so weird that we found his book and it wasn't a thing. It was so prominent in that scene. Can I see the history of what it said about that book?
Sure. No. If I said no, you'd look at it anyway.
Yes,
if I said no, that would be insubordination. I'm really gonna... I gotta milk this if I'm gonna do dropping it soon. So, I mean, by process of elimination, we haven't gone to this and talked to... Well, we did talk to her. We talked to both of them, didn't we?
Talked to her again, yeah, right.
I'm just saying this is why it's bumbling around, because it's just sort of like, did you see this car? Did you see the car?
Body bag, body parts, take a fingerprint, human skull. Okay. There's a book on a small table. This contains details on the gruesome things the killer did.
Yeah, it's like a diary, basically.
Yeah. Hammer, saw, screwdriver, and tape. Bought at a normal hardware store. This is what you were talking about before.
All right, you want to go...
Okay.
So...
We should talk to her.
Okay, first of all...
About the vehicle. We haven't asked her about the vehicle.
I want to bring something up. Just from like a game... Like a gaminess. So...
She could be like, I saw this vehicle following
I think the guy had blonde hair or something like that.
Exactly right.
He was wearing a suit, something.
Yeah. All right, let's go talk to her. I was so convinced that that bookstore woman was going to give us some good information.
Okay. Yeah, just hit next, scan her, and get Nancy.
It is fitting if this would wrap up all around to our girlfriend at the end. Here we go.
This car was standing in front of the house for a few minutes. Only once did I see someone get in the car. Some full brown hair before the person got in the car and drove away. Okay. So, first of all, even if he was a possible suspect, he's not. Okay, so there's your killer.
There's our killer.
Okay.
Another important piece of evidence. The car must belong to the killer, so we know that we are looking for brown hair. Now, I hope there are not that many cards in your deck that match that hair color. There we go.
Okay,
well,
so can we scan him?
No, he's not in the game, but we could scan this guy to
No, we're talking to him right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this isn't in the game. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to say, hey, is this the guy? Come on now, honestly. Okay, so wait, just say goodbye and see if you can solve the case. I'm just going to scoot goodbye again.
Can we go to Scotland Yard and
go
try
to
solve it?
Scotland. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if this will let us solve it, but we could just try.
That's usually how the game is solved.
Yeah.
Just hit next.
I think maybe we do one of these two. Oh.
No, she doesn't know anything. We know that this is the guy.
One of them lets us solve it. I think maybe if we talk to him, he'll let us solve it.
Oh, at the Scotland Yard, you mean?
Or wherever.
We just talked to him.
I know, but we didn't scan himself. I think the way we do it is we talk to himself.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, I guess it's going to give us a clue. Goodbye. Okay. I thought we were... Oh, we did that. We just did that. We just tried to scan him, and he said, I'm not going to tell you about every guy.
So why did you scan him again?
I thought maybe when we scan himself, he's going to say, are you ready to solve it?
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Like, where do we solve this? Are we supposed to solve her?
Can you scan this? And then scan the thing, maybe?
Is she in this game now? Is she here?
She's going to think you want a clue. Don't scan her. Okay.
Like, I feel like we're ready to solve it.
We are ready to solve it. How do we? What are we
How
going to
do
solve?
we solve it? How do we tell it we want to solve it? Did it tell us when we talked to him at some point, like what we do? Ooh, don't read that. Don't read that. Like, who lets us solve it?
Go.
Go to the very beginning when he told us about breaking the wall.
No. I say go to E.
Where's it?
Let's go and ask
You
her
wanna
if
talk
this
to
was the guy. I don't know.
We can't show him this guy because he's not in the game.
Is it annexed a bunch?
We talked to her.
I mean,
she's the one who told us.
It has to be that guy. We've eliminated all the.
Yeah, I believe we have.
It's only can be him.
I believe we have.
So just scan that guy and see what happens.
He's not in the game.
I know she's probably gonna say no. Yeah. So what do we do now?
Like there has to be.
There's usually a solved case. You can always go to Scotland
right.
Yard and it solves the case. So what now? For some reason, the thing seems to think that like we haven't eliminated everyone.
Maybe that's true.
I mean, this guy, no, they said doesn't have glasses.
Right.
All right, let's go back through him again.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do we know? Got brown hair.
No piercings, no glasses.
Okay, so
and we know it's an adult because they've got piercings.
That guy does have
brown
hair.
Why isn't this guy? Because he doesn't have
brown hair.
Okay.
This guy, no glasses, no glasses, no glasses. Not blue eyes, not blue eyes, not blue eyes. He's insane, but no blue eyes, not blue eyes, no glasses, not blue eyes, 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 not a child, not blue eyes, not blue eyes. Right? And they said it was one of these people that was not in the game. Right? That's a woman. That's a woman. That's, these are all women. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, he's got brown hair. Is that supposed to tell us that maybe it's him?
Okay. Yeah, maybe it could still be him.
But I thought she said he had, can you look and see what she said again?
Sure.
Don't look at what he says. Some full brown hair.
Brown hair. Okay.
I mean, it's this guy.
It's that guy for sure.
I mean, so I just don't understand how we solve the thing now.
Yes. So,
I
have a feeling.
Go back to her.
And do what?
I mean, he works for her.
Doesn't matter. He's not in the game.
I just go back. That's the only thing.
I'm happy to go back to her, but I don't.
I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you that I think that's the way to do it. I'm just telling you I don't know what else to do.
I think. I'm guessing that there has to be we have to figure out what to trigger that solve the case, and I think it's possible that it's not talking to him like I thought it was because he just gave us a clue.
Why would we talk to her?
But it could be her because she's sort of breaking the fourth wall with us.
But you wouldn't go to her to solve the crime.
I don't think so.
It's him. He's the detective. So go back here and ask about the employee.
Okay.
I think.
I'm happy to do it. I don't think it's.
I don't think it's going to work either, but I don't know what else to do. No. Okay.
So we don't even know what we're supposed to do. Can I just see what he told us when he said we're going to try to solve this case? Like we insert the thing, okay. Here are the additional. I will find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'll find that son of a bitch killed a man and show what. But for this, we need to work together. We both need to each other. Talk to me about the unknown killer so I can tell you my ideas. I'll look through the files, extract, okay. The developer is actually responsible. Dialogue.
Yeah.
Not part of new case. You can put aside the items, okay. Dialogue, 5 years. You can always talk to me. Most of the places. I hope this will finally find some rest. You can go anywhere you want. You can talk to the people. If you need help, ask me about myself if you get stuck. All the time, I'll try to figure something out. Huh. I mean, normally we go to Scotland Yard to fix it.
Mm-hmm. That's where you go to. You want to go again?
Yeah, I want to go back again. See your colleague Teresa. Okay, I want to talk to Teresa.
No, she's...
I just want to see what she says.
She's going to trigger a hint.
Are you sure she's
That's
not
her
gonna...
point.
I can tell you what you think when you ask me about myself. Okay.
Okay, so we don't want to do that. So hit goodbye.
What if we ask about?
I mean.
Yeah. And now let me scan this one.
Next.
You can see you know the truth. I was in the process. What is that? What you want?
I mean,
where do we go to solve it? Where do we go to say we want to solve it? That's weird. Do we have? Are we supposed to try to? We can't find him because he's not in the game.
No,
we just have to identify him. Can I see the people? Let me see if you overlooked
These?
the people that we ruled out and all that. What is over there?
Okay. Full brown.
What's in that pile?
Oh, just I looked at this before. Woman, monkey, woman, 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 woman.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Glasses, brown eyes, brown eyes, brown eyes. Not blue eyes, glasses. 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 Not brown hair.
Well, look at his hair. It could be dyed brown. Look,
It's
kind
not
of,
brown
I
hair.
mean, dyed black.
It's green on this side. Right? No, it's not him.
Well, I would tend to agree with you.
So
We
now,
know it's him. It
now
looks
we
like
just,
it.
I don't know what we do now to like
Yeah, what do we do?
say it's him. I wish we could just go solve the case. That's kind of the
Well, the
problem with
thing
taking
is,
it out of the box.
It's like, we don't know where to go to say we want to solve the case. A hacker? Like,
No.
where would we go to solve
I don't think
the
we're just
case?
because we could just scan this guy over and over. We could just scan everybody that we have a question about, and then eventually they'd be like, "It's him." So that's not going to say that it's him.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, I would think there's a location where it will say solve the case, but I don't know where that would be.
This was the crime scene, but it's just going to say search for clues. Right?
Yeah. What's over here?
That was where her hacker layer was. You could scan it. There's no way it's going to say solve the case, but
Do we ever get to a place it said solve the case in
it's
Scotland
going
Yard
to say
originally?
search. Yeah, it's going to say search for clues there because there's this clue search there.
Huh. How interesting.
I mean, it's him. That's the killer. We've come down to the
found
thing.
the killer, yeah.
We just now need it to say solve the case.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't said there's anything else we're supposed to do. Just find the killer. We have found the killer. Unless the game thinks we haven't.
We found all the information.
Feels like we've eliminated everyone else but him.
What now? Well, we found the vehicle. That's eliminated people. I mean, maybe the tools have some necessary thing.
And we haven't talked to her much.
We talked to both of them, but yeah, I mean, we didn't. We could go wander around and ask
give
people
us
about
great
this.
information.
All right, so let's just look. She told us they each eliminated some suspect, right? So, like, maybe go and just ask her about the tools. I mean, that seems stupid, but
Yeah, I mean, we can talk to her.
let's just go through. Now we're just going to go through and just cover our bases, and we're just going to scan, because I don't know what else to do.
I don't know either.
So go here, and we'll just scan.
All right, let's go.
Scan blood, and I don't know. We'll just scan all this stuff and see if it does something. Decorative items, maybe.
Like, I feel like there should be a place where we can try to solve it. The other thing we can do is...
just scan. Just, I don't know, scan deck of items and DIY tools, I guess.
The other thing to do is ask this guy about himself and let him give us clues until he's ready to have us solve it.
I mean, these are the only things at this point that we have.
Talk to this guy. Ralph is the owner.
No, I'm sorry. I meant to the desk.
Goodbye. This is...
You did all three?
No, I didn't do button organs.
Just do it. Okay, go to Bloomsbury.
We asked him about the car?
We already got the car.
I would think so, yeah.
Go to Bloomsbury, please.
Okay.
And let's ask these two about those three items. Just hit next a bunch. We've already read that. Hit next a bunch. Thank you.
The decoration.
Just ask everything, because at this point, those are the things that didn't make a difference. Okay. Okay. Ask her. Next. I've been to her a bunch.
Did you ever see War Games?
The Matthew Broderick one?
There's a scene where the two nerds, they go to talk to, and the guy's like, remember you told me to tell you when you were getting this way? You're getting this way.
I am?
No, I'm just saying that's the scene. But I am saying, like, remember you know when you get on tilt and you're getting tired and the game's going too long, you start to go crazy.
Well, I just want to go through this this minutia.
I just feel like this is not the...
Well, the only thing I can see is...
We need to do what you say. Like, we need to step back.
No. It's from the beginning.
We need to pause and figure out why we don't know how to end this case.
Well, I mean...
It's not like we don't need more evidence. We just need to know where we're allowed... How do we trigger...
Well, we're going to every location right now, right? So, like...
I know what it is.
What?
I know what it is. In the beginning, he said, when you want to do something with the killer, scan the killer. So, like, we talk to him and we scan this, and then it lets us say who it is or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Goodbye. Scan. Yeah. Okay. That's a good... This is
what should we talk about? And now when we scroll this, he's going to say,
this is a
you
little
know
bit...
where it is? Let me recap what we already know. You already found out killer wears no glasses or
good.
piercings. You already found out that he has blue eyes. You already found out that he has brown hair. You already found out that the killer is a man. You already found out that the card of the killer is not in the game. His card is never mentioned. You have to look in the remaining cards.
Please say solve the case. You son of a gun. And it doesn't matter. We already had him scan.
Well, we can scan. That seems to be suggesting that we need to narrow down more.
So, goodbye. Scan him, please. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we just have to scan through this stuff until we get the last piece of information that we need for some reason, even though...
I don't think these are them.
This is the problem with this style of a game, by the way, when, like, they change the rules up, where you normally go here to end the game. If you were right, it's a way to, like, just say, like...
The thing that's disturbing is we don't know what more we're supposed to be doing.
So the last...
I don't... Wait, hold on for a second. The fact that we're scanning these three are not the only possibility. The other possibility is we missed something in that room.
I did consider that.
Should we go?
So can we just... But like a good logic puzzle, let's just go ask her about those three items.
I'm happy to do it.
All right, because like at this point, like we're almost just kind of like next. Scan her. Because these are the only items that we haven't like really... This is the kind of like annoying part of this. Is that like... But it's weird because we already know who it is, right?
We think we... Yeah,
I mean we have to. We just went through it.
I didn't see anything else.
Oh, get that. I shouldn't like the blood. That's fine.
Let's go back. I wonder if that scene of the crime isn't where we can solve it. probably not, but let's try. Let's try.
I mean, we've been to every place, so we've gone through it, right?
Yeah. We're really looking for a solve the case.
Yeah, we really have.
Oh, this place. Search the scene. I mean, there's nothing in this scene. Where's the bloody scene?
It's in the other place. I don't want to go through this again.
I don't blame you.
Starting anymore.
All right, while it's doing this, let's...
No,
okay.
I mean, we found everything.
So where was the bloody scene? Here.
Here.
All right, so maybe
okay, let's just consider for a second. We've gone everywhere. We've asked everybody about the items that haven't unlocked something for us.
Right.
But clearly it wants us to use something else to unlock, or there's some mechanism that ends the game that we don't know about, which is a little annoying to me. It does look like the initial case was useless, was pointless. Other than just putting these people out.
It was cool. I don't want to give my final thing until we finish it, but I feel like we solved it. It's just really good. Yes, how much would you freak out? Okay, let's goodbye here.
We're already goodbye.
Okay, so let's go to the scene of the crime. I think we just got to figure out where we go to, how we trigger the solve the case.
What did that say? 35? No, that's okay. We already did, yeah. By the way, we didn't ask him about the tools.
Okay.
They could have been his tools. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Jeweler tools? That's an interesting idea.
I'm just his tools in general behind his place or something. Right?
It's an interesting idea.
No, it's not going to help. No.
We could ask. Okay, well.
So hit goodbye.
Goodbye.
And go search the scene. And this is like, I just want to solve it. Can we just go and solve it?
All right. So, organs we saw, hand, the plastic skull, tools. Head.
Oh, plastic skull. Toy games and toys.
Really?
There you go. Or no, they did say there was a plastic skull there.
And what about this drum?
I said liquids. Right? That's what I...
And there's that damn
and bottles. We put bottles too.
Locks. Did we do locks and keys? We didn't do locks and keys.
Oh my god, we're so stupid. No, because it's here. It was an original set.
But get it out.
Okay, I'm just telling you that it did say.
I agree.
That it did say to remove those things.
Well, here's games and toys.
I mean, just scan footprints.
No use.
Anyway, let's go through these all again.
That's a good one. Blood. Is that the blood we got already? Yeah.
Blood and. Okay, so let's go to the previous ones that we were told to remove. Init furniture. No. Okay, so let's go through all these. We scan that. Animals.
No.
Gardening tools. Photos.
No.
Signs and symbols. Firearms. Toiletries. Sport items. Boxes and packages. And drugs. Food. Clothes. Oh, maybe that's... I'm going to feel real dumb.
No.
Nope. Trash. No. Liquids.
Yeah, liquids.
We did scan it already.
Oh, we did.
So go ahead and scan it again.
No.
Okay. Plants. Kitchen utensils. Bedding. Tableware. Office materials. Melee weapons. I mean, we scanned the tools, but... I mean... More of a DIY tool, yeah. Okay, flammable objects, which I believe we did. Alright, we did liquids anyway. I mean, we did the book. You want to do it again? It's told us what it was, but it didn't tell us it was a clue. There you go. So.
It was weird how he reviewed when we showed it to them.
You think it's just a glitch?
No, I think this mission is too well done.
Scan him again.
I think, yeah, there's something we have to do. What should we talk about?
I don't know. Scan this
let's do this
again. See what happens. Do we scan this? No, he's just
Okay.
recapping again.
You already found the card.
Yeah, we already did that. I mean,
You have to look into the remaining cards to find him using the clues we have.
Scan
All right,
him
we've done it. Now
we
let us
wanna
do
know.
it.
Please let us continue.
Yeah, please let us do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that mean it's not? No, we need to solve the case. That's the.
Well, before it didn't have a solid case. It just pushed us into it. Go back to Scotland Yard, I guess. I don't know. I'm getting a little weary of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing we can do when we're weary is scan himself and let him give us his hint and see if he tells us how to solve it.
I don't care at this point. We probably played this an hour just... Well, maybe not. That's not
You
good.
want a clue. Doesn't matter. It seems strange to me that this old woman had nothing really to do with the robbery case. Maybe she was only there because she belonged to the original case. You should go to her place and interrogate her.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
So... Well, I mean, we asked her about we asked her about some stuff. Yes, just say yes. I mean, didn't we ask her a bunch of stuff?
She didn't give us any information.
We
Books, tools, and other items. Where's the DIY tools?
Oh, we scanned this.
All right.
I told you. I had you. I passed it to you.
I believe you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else can we ask her about? We can ask her about this guy.
All right, we asked her about these things.
Just getting serious. You have to inform the public about it. There's a killer on loose. Do you at least know what connects them? Yes, we do know. Do you have any leads on the killer? Yes, we do. Oh, let's see. Maybe no, she doesn't know. Okay, what about if we ask her about the killer?
I mean, this just amounts to just scanning every card that we have
for
her. I don't like it.
I hear you.
It's just we would just do it.
Oh.
Also asked if you had razor blades. Shaving equipment. Okay, smooth face.
There's no need. Okay, so the game is telling us like we weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be someone else. Okay, it's good. And it looks like our killer bought some rope from that old lady. This just shows that this stupid game developer reused some characters. Mentioning that the skin that was swooshed does not have a beard, we should be able to rule out quite some people with this information. You have 6 clues. This should be enough to catch the killer. Okay, so that was it.
So I mean, essentially, there was no real reason to ask her about the rope. I mean, this woman didn't have anything interesting to say, like that guy didn't. So we were just supposed to go and scan every item, like about everybody. I'm not liking that.
I came up with the following solution. This is his. Oh, sorry. The people are reading this. Okay, so her mentioning that the skin of the person was smooth shows us that the killer does not have a beard. We should be able to rule out quite some people with this information. I guess we already ruled out to this, but maybe it thinks we shouldn't have been able to. You've gathered a total of 6 clues. From what I can tell, this should be enough to catch this killer once and for all. While you were doing the investigation job, I was trying to figure out how to solve the case since we are not really able to trigger the appropriate ending. I came up with the following solution. We need to work together with Patricia Maxwell, alias the Scarab. She might be able to somehow hack the game itself and give us the possibility to end the game. Cool. Okay. As far as I know, there's no way we can do that at the moment since we are not really in the original game anymore. I bet there is no solve the case button or something like this. If we do not manage to solve the case, we are stuck here. Go and see Patricia Maxwell at Scotland Yard. Okay. So we were all into this. We just didn't. Goodbye. Double goodbye. Okay, so here we are. Patricia Maxwell's here. We scan her. Is he here with you? Do not play dumb. I mean this player or user or whatever it is. I bet he can read every single word we are saying right now. You are working together. That is one of the strangest things I ever heard, and believe me, that means something. But fine, let me hear what you came up with. So you proposed to hack a game system that we were not aware of and which actually forms our whole world. This does not sound like the best idea. And anyway, what do I have from this deal? All charges will be dropped. That sounds tempting. In addition, I like the idea of such a challenge. After you release me, I will go back to my house and prepare everything for this big hack. You can go there if you are ready. If you have any questions, you can ask me now or later in my house. You prepare the documents to release Patricia Maxwell. As soon as you are finished talking to her, she will go to her house to prepare everything for her biggest hack yet. Okay, goodbye. Let's go to her house. You arrive at the house of Patricia Maxwell, the scarab. She lets you in and looks at you with an expectant look.
So scan her.
Oh yeah, scan her.
And then mercifully she'll let us.
So here we are. I thought about this whole issue and I still cannot believe it. It seems like the code I used to get into the city planning service system did accidentally get access to the game system we are living in, which is called Chronicles of Crime. I believe that the game must properly end in order for us to get back to our lives, otherwise we are on hold, waiting for you out there on your device to continue. I can try to hack the game and trigger another end by altering the game file. This should be easy enough because I only need to reuse the original ending and add some more questions. These will allow us to make slight changes to our world. If the player scans the correct answer about the killer, you, Liam, would be able to arrest him even though the corresponding card is not in the game yet. I will get my computer and set everything up. Hey player, she's talking to us now. While talking with me, you simply have to scan the computer card for me to run the code and trigger the ending. Okay, card 18. It's gone, we can't solve it. Come on, computer, let's do some magic. I've prepared everything. We are ready to launch this attack and upload the altered version of the game file. Hey, player, you will not even realize that something has changed. I hope you give the correct answers in order for us to live in peace. So this is it. You want to read?
Mm-mm.
So this is it. Thank you very much for all you have done. Without you, I would still have to deal with this tragic backstory that this idiot of a writer gave me. I'm so glad that we are able to finally end this and solve the case from 5 years ago. We will probably not meet again since the game will end as soon as you solve the case, but this means that we are finally free again. It was a pleasure working with you and I wish you all the best. Goodbye. Hey stranger, you will have to go through the original questions again. I added the questions that Liam gave me in order for you to answer. Who is responsible for the theft of the data files?
You just have her in front of you.
Okay. Which location was the actual target of the theft?
That was...
Yeah, this was over here, this is in the middle, so it's this
okay.
way. We never, it's interesting. What else was stolen? The jewelry, right? It's so interesting. It's asking us the questions that we answered long ago. Where did she get the keys? We know that's the locker photo, right?
It's beyond this thing.
I hope that this works. If you can read this, so we made it. Here are the new questions. Who is the unknown killer? Who is going to be the next victim of the killer? Who is going? Oh, it was the body bag. No? Who is going to be the next victim of the killer? It had to be a bank employee who got her. Who is going to be the next victim? Does it mean...
So is it saying that, like, this bag could have been the next thing, or was there something we missed that it could have been somebody else?
Who is going to be the next victim of the killer? So here are some possible guesses. It could be her because she was on to him. Someone complained to him. It could be, this is the guy that complained about the killer. He got killed.
Well, here's something. He's got blue eyes, he's got blue eyes, he's got blue eyes.
That's interesting. Well, that's interesting.
He killed 2 men. I mean, it could just be... It could be like... What was the bag?
Who was going to be the next victim of the killer? That's a weird question. We didn't get any sign that he was out there still killing people.
Who was going to be? That doesn't make any sense because, like... it would have been like he would have killed the person. We didn't stop him. Unless
who's going to be the next victim of the killer? If we when we read the rules about the body bag, it said the author
didn't put him in yet. Luckily, he wasn't. Yeah, I think we just scanned the body bag.
Let's do it.
Do you have? Yes, you got it.
Do you want to read that card? What it said about the last body bag? No. All right, we're just going to scan this. What was the connection of the killers? Well, how do we say this? Is it that location or is it this woman?
Yeah, he was...
Like that location has multiple things. It was the bank, yes, I agree. But
so this is the bank. I mean, he was a customer of the bank. He was a customer of the bank.
I agree, as a bank. I'm just wondering, like, do we scan her? Is she the connection?
It's too late. We already...
No, I mean, what was the connection of the victims? Is she the person we should scan if we ask what's the connection?
He was a teller at the bank, or he worked at the bank.
Right.
And these were victims of the bank. So,
whoever the next victim was... Doesn't she represent the bank? This represents the place where the bookstore was and where the bank was.
No, that's the bank. She's not the bank. I would argue, but it could be.
Well, it's probably going to be both then. I mean,
because that's his place of employment. If it could be both,
it could be...
No, I would say that's the case. I would scan that. That being said, I wonder if somebody else was connected to the bank. And that we scanned the wrong person.
This guy complained to her. This guy worked for her. This guy was her customer. I mean, I know it's the bank. I guess either one. You have a strong preference that you think it's this one?
I do, but you can do whatever you want.
Well, let's do this. It seems to me like the game should give us credit for both of them, so I don't think it should make a difference. Congratulations, you made it. You solved the case and found the culprit. After Liam got the identity of the killer, it was easy for him to arrest him. London is safe again, and Liam can finally leave his tragic backstory behind. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the one we got wrong was who was going to be the next victim.
So
it was going to be someone related to the bank.
Correct.
So it might have been like if we asked someone about the bank, they were gonna. She would say like, I mean, like if we asked someone about her, they might have said, "Yes, I'm a customer" or something. And that guy.
It could have been her, I guess. But yeah, it seems like
it could have been her.
Okay, let's see.
Well, we got everything except for that.
Although we could. We could. Well, she's not a. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Okay, let's see
the solution.
Yeah.
The hacker, or Scarab as she calls herself, overheard a conversation between the jeweler and her favorite electronic salesman. The jeweler wanted to buy a security system for a store and his most valuable items. The hacker became interested and asked the salesman about the security equipment. She figured out that it would be easy for her to hack it. She visited the jewelry store and set her mind on stealing the beautiful ring. During her visit, she installed a malware program on the computer of the store to control the security system. However, she realized that the building is very complicated and she would need the building plans to find the best way to get in undetected. She did not want to risk entering through the front door. A quick research revealed the perfect possibility for this. The cleaning lady, Lumi, would do anything to protect her online profile. It was easy to blackmail her and get her to steal some plans from the city planning offices. Lumi stole the key to the server room from one of her co-workers. He left them in his locker while being on vacation, and from there she stole them by picking the lock. The hacker stole additional plans to confuse any person who happened to notice the attack. The whole motive was to brag about her new beautiful ring in front of some of her friends. In addition, she admitted that she likes the challenge of outwitting complicated electronic systems. Hey stranger, this is Patricia. I wanted to let you know what happened after the game finished. I guess you already read the solution to this ridiculous robbery case. I was able to piece together the events of the whole strange affair. Because we want to thank you for your help, we thought we'd share everything we managed to unravel with you. This will be the last message from our side. Once again, thank you very much for your help and finishing this for us. Goodbye. The program used to steal the data file stumbled upon an unknown network somewhere in the depth of the server system. It managed to download a file from a game called Chronicles of Crime. This unexpected event triggered the alarm system of the city planning offices and led to the detection of the theft. When Liam saw this file and became aware of being actually the protagonist of the game, the whole thing became corrupt. It should have ended, but he interrupted the end sequence by talking to you. This meant that the world was not being set back to an idle mode, but kept being in gaming mode. Liam saw the chance to find the killer that escaped him 5 years ago together with you. This killer was actually the initial idea of the game writer, but the case was never finished. Instead, he built the simple theft on top of the original case. Liam was very clever in figuring out a way to identify the killer. There were even some hints showing that he was planning to kill another person, 13, who was living with a very uneasy feeling. She was very uneasy. Okay. Lucky for her, since the original case was never finished, she survived but had this constant feeling of being followed. Oh, it did give us a little clue. Like, remember it said, I wonder if the person who almost got killed would have a feeling of dread.
Oh, I see.
But she had this constant feeling of being followed. Thanks to you, this is now gone as we have learned since. Yes, okay. All victims had in common that they were clients of the same bank. So you were right, B. The killer was going to be an employee of that bank, and in that way, he got access to all the required data of the victims. His motive is still unclear to us, but I bet the developer had no real idea on this either. When Liam told me that he wants to solve the original case to teach the game designer a lesson, I figured out that we would have to change the game ending, so I uploaded an altered case file to your device. I think you know the rest of the story. Ever since then, we did not have any problems. Liam does not have his tragic backstory anymore because the case is actually solved and people do not ask him about it. Only the two of us actually know what happened, and we want to keep it that way. This is finally a story with a happy end, thanks to you.
Thoughts?
Well, I know you got a little frustrated by it, but I thought it was great. Like, it was different. And I love that it's almost like One Cut of the Dead, where it had one ending, and then all of a sudden, it had another ending.
So,
I mean, I thought it was cool, and that moment where it broke the fourth wall really was a kind of chill moment for me.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess first of all, I mean, definitely, I think that whoever. Hal Hammerhand or whatever his name was, what was his name? Hal Hammer?
Hal Hammer was the second name on the thing.
So, I mean, clearly put in a lot of work to do this.
Very ambitious case, not just a normal case, but a totally bizarre case.
On the plus sides, Hal went through the effort of trying to, like you say, think outside the box and do something unique and try to pull it in. It's interesting because a lot of stuff, we've played a number of cases of this, and I find that I really like the setting of it in terms of I like just thinking we're the detectives or whatever. I think ultimately the first half of this, I think most of these games, whether or not I like them, the biggest strength for me is that you and I, what we put into it, our discussion about what could be and what could not be. Essentially, the first half was pretty well on rails, and the questions that we had ultimately didn't matter, right? The little things that didn't make sense, they never got answered, and they were ultimately irrelevant, which is not very satisfying.
Okay, I think that's fair enough.
So the first case was not that satisfying to me. I mean, I did enjoy talking about it and stuff, but when they're just kind of well, yeah, you found out what it was, and it really kind of tunnels you in. So
I think you have a point. This is actually, let me just interrupt you for a second. This is really an interesting artistic question. It's sort of like you could imagine if you're as the designer, you're saying, I'm going to make this game where the first half of the case is sort of meant to be an easy bullshit case that the satisfaction of the complete story is the fact that this first half is unsatisfying. So you're almost saying I'm going to purposely make an unsatisfying first half, and I'm making the contract I'm making with the players is that I'm going to deliver at the end something that's going to make this worthwhile. But yes, you're right. I mean, it is it's like watching a boring thing, and the payoff is that you sat through this boring thing, and that's part of the payoff. Part of the cost of giving you a good payoff, and if they had just skipped that, it wouldn't be satisfying. But I can absolutely see what you're saying, that that was time that we...
Looking at the end of the Seventh Continent video or whatever, I know that towards the end of that game, I got, I think when a game goes on a really long time, and you sort of start doing this 4 or 5 hours, I don't know how, 4 hours, 4.5, I don't know what this ended up being, right? But it's a long time. And, maybe I should have cut it and said, okay, we'll finish this later or whatever. But it felt like we were zeroing in, and I wanted to kind of finish it up. Especially since, if we don't play for a week, I want to be able to be fresh on it and stuff. So the second half wasn't wasn't so much an interesting case to me either, though. And I mean, I feel bad to say this about my reaction, but I think because that person obviously put in a lot of work, and I credit them for that, But for me, when I look in a game like this, so if it was just the thematic story of it or that I wanted, right? Maybe I would have enjoyed it more. But the second half, I just kind of felt like, well, we didn't really piece together the mystery. We just sort of said, have you seen this site? Have you seen this car? Oh, I've seen this car. Okay. But we could have just, essentially it kind of seemed like, and it ended up being this, where we just went through and we're like, scan all 5 cars for this person, and they may have seen it, they may have not. There was no reason that we would have said, because, it could have just as easily been like that guy was like, oh yeah, that rope was in the alley. Or oh, I saw that car. Or like the guy in the jewelry store happened to see the car.
Well, let me interrupt you. I take your point. I think if I boil down what you're saying, the part that I agree with is saying that this wasn't so much a use deduction to solve the mystery. It was much more of a, here's this crazy story, thematic thing that as an experience I found super cool. But I agree with you in terms of saying that it was maybe lacking a little on the deduction. However, I do think you might be selling it a little short in that we were tired and running through the end. But that part about where we were tracking down that he was related to the bank and then the vehicle and tracking down, well, who would be likely to see that vehicle? And then that stuff did make some sense and was kind of cool. We were like, okay, he's in this area.
We went to the bank because I said they might have done a loan on the vehicle.
Yes.
But it wasn't the bank at all. It was just the fact that the jewelry guy happened to see the car.
Yeah, but
and then she happened to see the car, which
but the fact that we knew that we used the car as the leverage point to track down the person, and that we made the connection to the bank, that was a little aha moment. Now I agree, we had to sort of stumble around, but I that was a cool moment when we were putting together the clues that it's related to the bank. And once we know that it's related to the bank and the vehicle, that focused our attention on who would have seen the vehicle. And that made some sense that she would see the vehicle following them around. And once we found that second victim, it's what's the connection, right? That was a little moment where there has to be a connection between the new victim and our guy. And we tracked him down to the bank, and then we knew all of a sudden, we've got a locus of operation at the bank, and we missed that one thing about that girl, which we could have figured out if we had.
So essentially, it's I do think it's very clever and cool to say, look, we're now switching the game, so we're not going to be playing a typical Chronicles of Crime game. What we're going to do is we're going to have, and I do think that this is a very cool concept.
It's too overlapping.
It's to say you're going to take, it's a male. So you're taking all the male cards out of the deck.
That was cool too.
And then you're going to go around and they're going to say, I think you look like this, and you're going to lose some stuff over that.
That was pretty cool.
And so, but it wasn't like a deductive game where we would sit and play what's the game that I sold you?
Detective, the one
A Mystery of the Abbey. It's not like you're I'm going to ask if you have any of these cards or something. So it was just sort of they would just kind of tell us, and we would just eliminate those. Blue eyes, okay. No glasses or piercings. I mean, it was clever the way they were well, it's adult hand, so it's not a child's hand. But then they told you later that it was no glasses anyway, so it sort of doubled up on that. So, I do, that moment was, I was not...
It was a cool mechanic.
Yeah, it was a cool mechanic, but it wasn't to me like Chronicles of Crime.
It wasn't super deductive. We weren't sitting there really trying to puzzle out what the clue we're overlooking is.
Right. So I think that it's this person obviously took, well, not obviously, maybe to me, took and said, look, I'm gonna do something different with this, and I'm gonna write a story.
Boy, was that clever though.
That's in the breaking the fourth wall sort of brings the person involved in it. I think for me personally, the aspects that I enjoy about Chronicles of Crime.
It was short on those.
Yeah, it was bigger on that story element or something, which you tend to fall on the side of. I tend to fall on the side of more gamery, or I want to be more the person solving it and playing it. I mean,
think that's
this felt more like I'm in a story, I'm just participating in a story. Like in New York City, they had this this thing where like it's like an active play and you go into the building and you just like, it's like We Do Not Sleep or something. I can't remember the name.
Don't know it.
Sleep No More, something like this, where you go like through and like you observe these little things and like that's the experience. And so it's a different experience. Like, and it kind of feels like we were in a story where we're just kind of getting pushed through.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I don't so much disagree with the main thrust of your criticism. I do think there were some more elements that were satisfying, tracking down leads, like
but I mean,
the car.
for story reasons, like it would have been, I think, really cool if they had found a way to link. And they did. They did. Like, I just think it would have been kind of cool if like you'd skipped back 5 years, like they did, and you found out that there was more to that break. You know what I mean? If they tied the two cases together more. But essentially, the cases were completely separate. Right? There was no relation.
Sure.
And I think that like a missed opportunity was kind of like, you know, we look back and we said, okay, well, she's only worked there for 2 years, and this was 5 years ago. So that kind of, you know, takes these two out. But it didn't matter. That was completely irrelevant.
Well, I mean, I don't.
So
yeah, I mean, I agree. Like you could make a different game that didn't involve this storyline of breaking the code and had a story that arched through time that would be very satisfying. I just found the story of this breaking the code and how you basically had this buggy game at that point where the characters had overlapping answers to things. But yeah, I mean, I completely understand your critique. I don't have any complaints about any of that. I mean, I loved it as an experience. I wouldn't want them all to be like this. The criticism I would have was just what happened at the end, where it wasn't clear how we were supposed to tell it. We wanted to try to solve it, and it did seem like the game thought we shouldn't have narrowed it down to that one yet, and that was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was maybe considering that guy had the mustache, but he was bald.
You think it was
and
that
so
guy?
I think maybe
it said full head of hair.
It did say full hair.
So I don't know who else it thought we hadn't ruled out.
So I mean, you know, like look, there was some grammatical errors and stuff. I don't care about that. I mean, the amount of work that went into this thing was huge. And so like stuff like that, it doesn't like that stuff that like if you were getting paid to do this, you would be. There would be editors and stuff going around afterwards and cleaning it up and play testers and things like that. So, you know, for this person to have just made this thing and wrote all that, it's incredible. And I feel really bad to criticize it because I mean, it did take a lot of work and they did it all on their own and for no real profit, right? And so, you know, I mean, it is, like I said, I do really, and I'm not just saying that to be flippant. I mean, I think anytime you put yourself out there and make a big effort, that's amazing. And it's, you know, I mean, I really do feel like that was a really cool thing to have designed that whole thing. I 100%.
No, we just played it and it was free.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel like it was. I do really commend, like I talked about originality on last time and stuff. So I like the fact that they did something original with it. You know, that they tried to break the fourth wall and make an interesting story. And that's really cool. I mean, I can imagine, and I thought about this a number of times through it. I can imagine them just like in the car or on the subway or you know, in the shower and be like, oh, I'm going to do this.
But what a clever idea. Yeah.
Sure. I'm just saying, for me personally, like what I enjoy about Chronicles of Crime was not really in this particular game.
I hear that.
You know? And I found that like when we had kind of hit that point where almost like we're just randomly kind of scanning cards, that's not what I want to do.
I agree.
You know? And it's a little bit frustrating at the end of like a 4-hour game or whatever. And that's not at the fault of anybody that we decided to marathon it. And frankly, you know,
we
what
were
I
warned
said
about that it was long too.
And the fact that we played for an hour and a half on the first mission, you know, somebody might have just buzzed through that in 30 minutes. So for us, the fun of the game, you know, so again, that's really just kind of comes down to like my preference. It's sort of like, I feel like I went to a restaurant and I said, I want this dish, and they cooked it in a way where I'm like, well, that's different than but that's not what I look for in it, you know. So I mean, you know, the parts of the game that I like are not that like there's some, like you and I have a little disagreement on some. There's a couple of games that I'm thinking of that like you're like, well, I just love the story aspect of it, and I'm like,
well, it's not just story aspect, but I do think that I'm more amenable to an experience game, to a unique experience that's like more like that you might call a piece of art, and I'm willing to pay pain to get it. Like if you say, okay, I'll give you a great example. There's this movie called Police Adjective, which watching the whole movie is painful, and then the last 15 seconds of the game, of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, some people will hate it, but anyway, I'm much more amenable to a game that says we're going to play 8 hours and then you lose when you turn over a car, like this War of Mine. Like, as a unique experience, I'm so impressed by having a unique experience that I'm willing to say all that pain up until the end was part of the process. But I didn't even find, I found this thoroughly enjoyable all the way. And for me, that moment when we solved the case and we were like, we didn't even want to solve it. We're like, why is it making us solve it? Now it's over? Like, we thought this was supposed to be long. We thought it was ending. And then all of a sudden it's like, the glitch comes in the Matrix. And this thing is talking to us, and I was like, got scared. Like, I almost felt like the designer had hacked into the computer, and like my heart was going up.
So I really like that you were affected by that. And like I don't, some people when they're like, what, you thought that movie was scary? That's so stupid. Like I don't think like that. Like I'm just like I'm happy that you had that experience. Like I didn't have that experience, but like it's really cool that affected you in that way, and I'm like really glad about that.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean that like I'm a tough. No, I just mean like I don't generally get scared of movies and stuff like that. Like, and that's a cool thing that you were able to be affected that way, and I think that's good on the writer. Yeah. Now I will say this as well, and again, this is not just me covering my bases just to be nice to the person that did this work, but like to me, like if I were a game developer, if Lucky Dice, what is it again? I can't remember.
Lucky Duck,
yeah. So if I were like the person that worked at Lucky Duck,
hire this guy immediately.
Yeah, I would say, look, you obviously can put a lot of work into a project like this. I would say, but the parts that I didn't like about this, that were not the Chronicles of Crime elements I would say, look, you've got something here, but let's make, this person didn't have the benefit of all that, that's game support. So I would say, look, I want to take this on, I want to develop it. I want to clean some of the things up that weren't.
Really?
I would, yeah.
I think that's really unfair. I think the better answer is like, this is a unique experience. Sure, like wasn't the perfect one for you, but like don't try to fix it and make it the perfect one for you. This is a wonderful experience. Have him make a couple more. Yeah. Hire this guy immediately to make more scenarios.
That's sort of like
of different kind, and make some that are super deductive.
I wonder if this person did actually end up getting a job.
Well, I hope they did. They really deserve it.
But I mean, you could see where this is the situation in like movies where he's talking movies and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm gonna want to wrap it up soon. It's like almost 4 a.m. and I gotta. But like, I feel like when you're, when you have like a movie or something, you have like a producer and they're like, why don't you put some spiders in this scene? I mean, like, and I guess that's maybe me. And this, I would say, well, this is our brand of Chronicles of Crime, and we want a certain amount of this or that in it. Yeah.
I think having variety, isn't that great, of the missions? Like your proper answer as a developer would be, don't make all the missions like this. Don't make all the scenarios, but having one like this and having, just like we did, Redview had his little different mechanic. This one had a different mechanic.
One other thing that, like, I would say if I was, okay, so this I think you might agree with on this, is that if I were Lucky Duck, I would say you could take the just like the occasional swear out of it. And just don't have to put that tag.
You don't need the swears.
Because there's body parts and things, but like I mean you don't have
the swears didn't feel. I mean I didn't mind them, but
didn't. But I mean there's murder in the other scenarios, in the official release scenarios.
Yeah, you could get.
So I think that like
if you didn't want
be
them.
like I mean, and you can leave that language in if that's a very strong point, but it didn't seem like it was.
I agree.
I mean like. Some movies and stuff are like, well, do you have to do so much swearing? I feel like that's like Misery. Do the characters have to swear so much? But it wasn't as integral, so I didn't feel like it was like...
I did like... Now, we got stuck at the end. I wish they could improve that thing about telling you what you had left to do.
Or just allow us... If we had allowed us to solve it. And I think that last 40 minutes of just...
Yes, I agree with that. Skips. But I will say, like... Wow, the person who wrote this really had to write some code into that... had to put some real work into that thing to get it to do some of the things it did. Like when it said, let's review what you know already, like for it to know those things, that wasn't easy to do in that community editor. So props to them. Now, could you give this a number? Are you willing? Are you going to be insubordinate again and not give this a rating? Like of the Chronicles of Crime cases from 1 to 10.
We have this like 20 cases.
I know, but like if you consider the cases going from 1 to 10, you're refusing.
I'm insubordinate.
You're insubordinate. You're
I'm
refusing.
looking, the game system itself is.
You prefer not to.
I prefer not to. Insubordination. Where's my little thing? I'm cleaning this up, by the way. You've seen me clean this up as we've been playing. And if at home you're like, why is he cleaning this thing up? It's because we've gotten quite late here on a number.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, one time I came over and we played Wonder Woman, and I told him I can come over for 2 hours, or two and a half hours, and then I got to go. And then we had to go, and I left him to clean up the game. And then when we got to like even later in the day, it was Seventh Continent, and I was like, look, can I just leave this here? I can help you clean it up later if you're throwing it in the list.
The nice thing is
I should clean the game.
When people watch these videos, I should put like a little chart. You can watch Greg's patience start to run out as it gets 3 a.m. and he starts throwing the cards at me. Scan this. Well, hit next.
I think that.
But we get to the end.
The comparison between those two games is that we've been playing for a while, and when we were playing Seventh Continent on the playthrough, like we got to a point where we're just like marching back and forth, and I was like, we're just gonna die, and I'm just like.
Well, not only that, but like my job is to like test your patience, because as you get there, I'm like, slow down, and so yeah. But now, so I will rate this. First of all, Bartleby the Scrivener, one of the best stories ever written by Herman Melville, and there's Bartleby right there. I said give it a rating, and Greg says
insubordinate.
Greg says I prefer not to.
You're gonna get fired. You're gonna get a different.
Like what? Can you imagine watching a movie review show, Siskel and Ebert?
This was a playthrough.
And Siskel just says, nah, I prefer not to give it a rating.
I prefer not to.
No thumbs. I'm not going to deal with it.
I want to get like a little sign that says insubordinate.
I would give this, like, as an experience, not a 10, but as a unique experience. Now, I wouldn't want to play more of these, but certainly I can, a good 8 or 9.
And really and truly, like, I do feel like the Hal Hammer or whatever.
Don't stop.
Just, I mean, like any kind of criticism that I've given you, I want you to think, like, I don't want you to any of that to discourage you, because I really do think you've done a great job here. If you watch this, I kind of hope he doesn't actually, or she.
I hope he watches it.
I hope not, because
I think you did amazing.
But like I think you did do an amazing job. There's a lot of originality here, a lot of creativity, and a huge amount of work.
Huge amount. Of work. And
I think I'm a little
paid off.
I'm like getting to be a curmudgeonly old man. I mean, I'm turning into Reed Richards.
It's good that it's hard. You got to work on it.
And I want a specific thing. I got in this point in my life, and I'm like, I know what I want.
Make another one. We'll play it. Would you play more fan scenarios?
This is gonna sound funny, but I don't really generally like to. When we discussed that earlier, I would play another one from this person.
Okay.
And that sounds funny, because like it wasn't mine necessarily, but I think that this is a great job, but I want to see what else they can do.
And we should thank the guy who wrote this thing, because I feel like we can have some little trust in him that if he tells us another scenario is a 9 or a 10, Sean Clothier.
So what did they put in this? May I see this? This is the one that they said was the best one.
Well, I'm not sure he said best, but he really raved about it and gave it a 9.5. So if you look, he writes the whole thing. So here's a happy birthday, 8.
That's ping pong. Oh wait, hold on a second. What is this ping pong? A Simple Case of Success by Ping Pong 1, 2, 3, 4.
So maybe same author, or maybe Here's another 9 out of 10.
That's 9 instead of 9.
8.5. 8.5. So there are some good ones left. Fan scenario. So maybe.
I mean, this person.
Right. If you want to see more of these.
Yeah.
Write a comment. Maybe we can convince Greg to do some more. This channel is going to be like subtitled. What can you convince Greg to do again? Can you convince Greg to play Seventh Continent again? Can you? But he convinces himself. But he could use a little encouragement.
I mean, there's plenty of games to play. Actually, that's misleading. You are the one that I'm always like, I could play this again, and you're like, eh. Like we played Horrified, and like when I first got it, and you were like, I don't need to play that again. I'm like, but I want to play some more, and you're like, nah. And and that's kind of like you're like play it and get rid of it.
That's how I used to be.
Yeah, that's how you are still. But I don't know. Like I think this is very very interesting, a good interesting original take on it. But yeah, I like a little more control in my games. So again, like we talked before about on our last review about Robinson Crusoe and this War of Mine when we were talking about on our Seventh Continent review discussion. and there's like a certain, there's a market for that kind of an experience. Which this felt more in line with that sort of thing. We talked about Bandersnatch a little bit, which is sort of an interactive thing. I mean, like, if I watched Bandersnatch, it's a Black Mirror thing, like, movie. I could be like, I was told beforehand it was like an experience, but I'd be like, I just wanted to watch Black Mirror. Like, I might be annoyed by that. So it is interesting what your expectations and stuff does bring to the table there.
We should say, just for the record, we've been playing about 11 hours. Well,
is that right?
Yeah, we got here around 5. It's almost 4 a.m. now. So just to give you some idea of...
Well, because we also did our... No one is watching at this point if they ever were.
No one's watching any of these.
I know. But like, well, Chad and Becca...
Well, we got 2 friends that watch these in the background.
There's 2 references to them in this one episode. But, we did our whole thing on Seventh Continent for an hour and a half or whatever, and then we played this game for a while. I did know this was going to be longer, but I do like to get... Generally, we knock these Chronicles of Crime in about 4 hours.
And in one sitting.
But
I just thought like it might be useful for them to understand where our energy levels, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that also we've had this thing in the past before about Chronicles of Crime in general, where like, we get to a point and I'm like, no new information is coming out. And we had to have a discussion about this because I said, I'm willing to go 45 minutes just running over the same ground when we don't know anything new, but we're just going to have to solve it. And Jesse is like, let's go 2 more hours. And I start getting like, we've been at this 4 hours, like, you got 45 minutes more from me. Because as long as there's new information coming out, that's fine.
You.
But once you start going around, and I kind of got that sense in that end of that last one where it didn't really... We were just sort of...
I don't feel like it outstayed its welcome, but you got that feeling that we didn't know what to do.
Well, I get really... I get really frustrated when, like, I'm like, what is it? Like, I've like, run out of patience where I'm like, how do you solve it? I want to solve it. Just show me where to solve the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I get, like, very antsy, so... This channel's probably just, like, you could title, like, why is Greg such a jerk?
No.
Like,
it was wonderful to play with you today. I'm really glad you're here.
Well, I always appreciate you having me on, so... That's, is that it? Are we done?
I think that's it. Co-op for 2, 11, 23... 20. We're playing Chronicles of Crime community scenario.
That's the first time you decided to put the date in there?
I've been putting the date every time.
Really? I don't know about that. And you didn't clap very loud either.
It doesn't have to be that loud, Greg. Greg is critiquing my clapboard skills.
I do have my...
That's on your list.
And there's another little prank I played on you, by the way. Because you said, have as many cookies as you want. Jesse always buys like 400 Subway cookies when we go to Subway. And I was like, okay. And so I took them all away, like as if I'd eaten them all. And you have yet to realize that you were missing like 12 cookies.
Oh, yeah? Where do you think you put them?
Oh, you found them.
Of course, I've got like radar for cookies and chocolate.
You missed 1 pack then.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, look at that. You're like, that was pretty good. I was like, haha, Jesse, you've fallen for my plan. You're like, actually, I knew all along. Really, con to con, man.
You can't really hide sweets from me.
Really? Were you really?
I'm always scanning for sweets in the room. Like the Terminator.
I am impressed. I'm impressed. All right, well, thank you again, Hal. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Co-op for 2, Chronicles of Crime, a simple gift playthrough, continued. We only have 2 hours and 27 minutes.
What is with you and the clacker look?
You want it louder, huh?
That's a clack. You're like... Every time. It's like so... It's like... Bam! Clackety. You gotta... I mean...
Would you like to do the clacker? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think, like... It seems like you've forgotten what you should do with a clacker. It's not a complicated thing.